Okay, you're recording it and unmuted.
Very. Well, let's try to have in front because. Yeah, there's a forum. That's it. Okay, so welcome to Community Board Two's July SLA 2 committee meeting. Donna Raftery, I'm chair of the committee. Also with me, we have Dr. Shirley Smith, Erica Olson, Laura Deltice, okay. That's really different. And Paul McDade. Okay, so the way this is going to go, I'll call up the application. There are agendas in the back. You can take one. Please make sure you've signed in. If you hear from the public that was to speak on an application, please fill out a speaker card and hand it to me. So I'll call up the application, come up to the podium. There's 2 microphones. We can, please use them. Everybody has to use the microphone, and then, address the committee, go through the application. The committee will then ask any questions. Once the committee is done, we'll go to the public for any questions, comments. Once we've heard from everybody on the public on an application, we will invite the applicant to come back up and address anything that was raised. I ask that everybody address the committee, not each other, and speak respectfully to each other, to us, about the applications. And that's it. Again, make sure you use the microphone. And if anybody's here for Dante West Ford, doing business as Dante Aperitivo at 51 Bank, they have withdrawn that application for now, so we will not be hearing that application tonight. And we'll take things out of order. So the first item we're going to take is this Strangers Club New York LLC, doing business as Dear Strangers at 147 West 4th Street. This is a method of operation change and an alteration. It's items A4 and B4.
Petition signatures you're sending this day, I don't know if you got it.
We got it.
So, thank you. You like that packet?
Any big changes?
Okay.
If you take a look.
I'll take one. Thanks, sir. Would you like the packet?
Yeah, sure.
Good evening, this is Community Board 2, and Svinsky, Bernstein, Radar, and Svinsky here tonight on behalf of Strangers Club New York LLC. They do business as the restaurant, Dear Strangers at 147 West 4th Street. That's between McDougal and Avenue of the Americas on West 4th Street. This is a multifaceted application, but it's not complicated. It is a change in method of operation. We are removing our security guard that we had on the license, and then we're doing an alteration to the exterior and also the interior. The exterior is adding space in the form of a backyard and also DOT roadway seating. And then the interior is just reconfiguring the furniture, reducing the capacity inside to allow for the capacity outside. This is Ivan Popic. He is the owner and the operator of Dear Strangers. He has been operating this space for just about 2 years now. We were here before you in October of 2023 on the initial application. The change in method of operation that I discussed is that we had a security guard on the original application. This was at the tail end of COVID. West 4th Street was not in the best condition at that time. It has since improved greatly. There was also a concern, as Ivan was new to the neighborhood, and this is kind of an NYU neighborhood, that there might be a lot of underage kids trying to get in. After 2 years of operation, this is an upscale, Latin-inspired American cuisine. They have not had that issue. They're not really using the security guards, so we're taking it off the license. We are not going to be filing a change in method of operation application with the SLA though, because there's an advisory from the SLA that says you do not need to file one to remove it, but full transparency, we are taking it off the license. The alteration is a little bit more complicated. This space operated as Volare for about 40 years and used the backyard. When we came to you and Ivan signed the lease with the landlord with the full understanding that he was going to be able to use the backyard in the same way that Volare had. When we came to you in October of 2023, there was an issue about whether or not we could use the backyard, and we did not have anything from DOB that said that we could. We have since gotten an LNO which says that we have the use of the ground floor for a restaurant, and we have the opinion of a zoning council who says that extends to the backyard. They also said that there's not, and I will hand you the L&O. They also said that there's not an issue with egress. I know that was a problem last time, where they said because of our capacity below 75, that we do have the proper egress from the backyard. The addition of the backyard space here. You want this
No,
stuff?
no,
Okay.
it's me, go ahead.
The addition of the backyard space here is very tiny. It is actually less than what Polari had. You can take a look at the diagram that we included. It's 4 tables and 8 seats. We're only having seated table service outside. You're not standing out there with a drink. Our hours of operation are gonna be from 5 to 11 PM daily, and obviously this is seasonal because we can't use it in the winter. No music outside either. Inside, the alteration is we're reducing our seats by 5, so we're going from 50 down to 45 seats. And we're also reducing our bar stools from 12 down to 10. You can take a look at the diagram from before to after. We just kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and there's more space in the middle. And then finally, is the alteration for the municipal expansion to add the DOT roadway seating on West Fourth Street. That is 3 tables and 12 seats. Donna, that has not come yet before the DOT committee. I don't know if you want to hear it or not, but we figured we're talking about backyard space, we're talking about exterior space. The hours there would be the same as the backyard space, 5 to 11, no music outside. Everything else is remaining the same about this place, about the method of operation. Our hours of operation go until 1 AM during the week, 2 AM on the weekends. We only have recorded background music. There's no operable windows.
Okay, so. So I'm just looking, you gave me the L&O, right? You have the L&O? Does it, it's in the packet too, isn't it? Or-
I don't know if it is in the packet.
Does it say
So it says,
eating?
Last one, here, one, here.
Well, hang on a second.
No,
Here.
no, I'm, this one, that's not.
So the L&O says that we are permitted to use the ground floor as restaurant space. We talked to a zoning attorney who said that this is all DOB is going to give us, but it does allow us to use the backyard space. And I know CB2's position on this,
Yeah.
and you know what we're gonna say is that the SLA doesn't get involved in
Right.
these matters and they leave it up to DOB to make these decisions.
I'm just gonna say, we have gotten a letter of no objection. For, like not recently, we had a place that didn't have, it just said first floor and they got a letter of no objection for the rear yard. It took them 3 months to do it, I think, but they got that.
So we've spoken to the building owner. You look at the date on this, it's from
Yeah.
2023, was the
Yeah.
last time that the building owner
Yeah.
went. This is really all that the building owner is willing to do, and their zoning council, our zoning council say that it should be permissible for the outdoor.
Which is why you took the seating down on the inside.
To keep it below 75, sure.
Okay. All right, I'll just leave that for our committee discussion, because there's no sense to go back and forth.
Sure.
You're on that, so it's 5 to 11 for the rear yard is what you're asking for, 5 to 11 for the road bed. The neighbors are all okay with that. We
Yeah, I
received
forgot to
letters
mention
of
that we do
support
have,
from them.
we did do significant outreach on this. We did letters to 22 buildings on West Fourth Street and on Washington Place behind us. We spoke to, or we reached out to 11 block associations, that's all in there. We got 60+ signatures, 3 of which are in the building, 2 of which.
Three apartments from the building, from actual our building.
Step up to
Oh,
the
sorry,
microphone, that's okay.
3 signatures from the building. I told actually the Kevin who lives right above us signed as well. He didn't, but he's on board with that. The 143 and 149, we got a lot of signatures
Yeah.
from it. The building in Washington Place, which is the building actually probably the most affected by it. Turns out to be a very difficult building to first of all get into it. I don't want to disclose myself an Amazon delivery guy, but also a lot of apartments are under renovations. That being said, we also have a few letters of support from our block.
Right,
And
I saw there were letters of support
Right.
from people that weighed in last time when you came here originally that had concerns. I mean,
concern, yes, I
Yeah,
understand
so-
that some of them are supporting this application
Yeah,
for
yeah.
outdoor dining, so. You know,
okay. So that was that, then I think. On our piece of paper, it says, does it say? Vision from the sidewalk or bed. Are there heaters or am I confusing this? Are you gonna have-
For the.
For the outside,
For the outside, for the backyard, there wouldn't be any heaters.
there won't be.
For the roadway dining, as suggested by our architect, there should be a propane heaters, but my understanding, it's a very easy application
Yeah.
at DNY.
Okay,
No gas, no electricity. We actually don't have any gas in our restaurant, period. We're a fully electrical kitchen and a
Okay.
restaurant. So,
okay. I find that interesting about the propane heaters in the road bed, but.
I was told that that's kind of like standard and it's a DIY separate
I don't
application.
think so, I think
Yeah, I don't-
electric is,
New York City. But when we come to DOT, we'll obviously.
you'll have to go through all of that.
I
Okay.
mean, we can address that later, obviously. but-
Yeah, I mean, that's not, that part all,
Sure.
but I'm just telling you, I think you can have electric heaters, but not, they've got pretty strict rules about the propane heaters and have to be, so you'll find out.
Okay, I mean, I'm just telling you what I was told a
Yeah,
couple weeks ago, so I don't know any better.
Okay. So it would be 3 tables and 12 suites is what we think would be in there, but you'll see what fits with the DOT. Okay. And then nothing else is, oh, and then is there something that says the roadway extends beyond the frontage? Because I thought I read that someplace on here, but I don't think it does.
I don't believe it does.
No, because it looks like it's narrower than the frontage. Okay, so I think, that does it for my questions. Does anybody on the committee have anything? Okay, Dr. Smith?
You spoke of, you spoke about reaching out to block associations. What block associations did you reach out to that responded, and what was their response?
So.
I got it right here. Got it. And Dr. Smith, I'll bring this over to you afterwards. It was the Bedford Barrow Commerce Block Association, the Central Village Block Association, the Greenwich Village Block Association, Greenwich Village Chelsea Chamber of Commerce, 210 Sixth Avenue Tenants Association, South Village Landmark Association, South Village Neighbors, Village Preservation, West Village Business Improvement District, and the West Washington Place Block Association, and the West Fourth Sixth Block Association. Nobody responded to us.
And what about with outreach, reaching signatures, having, you gave one to.
I did, and I'll give it to you as well. Yeah, 60 plus signatures, 2 in the building, 26 on our stretch of West Fourth Street, 14 behind us on Washington Place, and then 10 from the surrounding areas, and I will hand you the petition signatures as well.
I thank you.
Then, Rob, yeah.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, I've heard it.
It doesn't sound like it's very-
Okay, yeah, so, I see one door that leads to the backyard. Is that the only door where there's gonna be egress in and out of the rear yard? Into the premises where,
Yes.
the license is located?
Yes.
And that door opens out?
That door currently opens out. If this application is approved, we're gonna change that door to open in the way of egress.
Okay,
Because we just fixed the whole door the way it was.
okay, and then you have steps right behind you. Do you have a picture of the area where you're going to change the egress of the doorway itself?
I'm looking through our pictures now, we're in the back to see if there's.
Cause I see 2 steps or,
There is 3 steps.
okay.
So. Door to the door. No,
I mean, I can provide a picture like immediately, even within an hour. But there's three steps.
Okay, and then what's, after you go up the 3 steps, then what's there?
If you're going to the garden, you go up.
No, not going back in, is that a hallway? What is that?
That's a small service area, like a coffee station. And then it's just a straight line with exit signs and emergency lights toward the exit and slash entrance of the restaurant.
Okay.
I do have some plans here, I can point it out to you.
So is it currently in use, that hallway?
That hallway is just an espresso machine there, it's used to make coffees.
Okay, so it's for, not for patrons, it's.
No,
used
no for patrons, it's just for the staff traffic coming out of the kitchen, bringing plates of food and serving coffee, that's it.
Okay, and is the only door leading from the kitchen to, the rest of the restaurant through that door that's just the side of that hallway?
Yes,
Okay, because I see stairs, interior stairs to second floor and cellar.
that is once you go through the whole kitchen, past everything, that's the stairs that go to the office upstairs, which is obviously just for a management ownership use, there's
Okay,
nothing
so
about,
that leads to an office upstairs and nothing else.
nothing else, exactly.
Okay,
The residential portion of this building is completely separate.
no, I'm just trying to find out where that led to.
Oh.
And that's in the diagram as well, in the second floor?
It's on the
Not in this one
original.
that you're looking at, but it should be in diagrams,
uh,
just an office space.
I see office storage, is that what we're
Yes.
talking about?
Yes,
Where it says second floor?
Yeah, nothing on there is changing, so we use no floor plans.
Okay, thank you.
Got it? Does anybody else have any questions? Is there anybody here from the public on this application? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
just
so much.
one more thing, so in terms of the rear yard, you have this entrance and exit doorway that goes out, that swings out. Are there walls all the way around? Like around that rear yard area, is there walls, fencing, what separates it from the boundary of the next building?
there, I mean, like, okay, so. I'm walking into our backyard, I'm going 3 steps up, I'm opening the door, which will be opening this way eventually. There's a wall of the neighborhood building. That goes all the way to the end of this one, then there is a fence this
How
way.
tall is the wall?
Is
It's a
particular
building
fence,
wall,
It's a
it's
building wall,
the
so
side
it's
of the
pretty tall.
building, yeah.
Okay, and then how about the back area, the back
Yeah,
side?
that's the wall.
And then-
there's pictures in here.
Okay, I just wanna make sure, do we have building walls all the way around on each side?
Not all the way around on each
Okay,
side.
how about where it says storage? What's there? What's over there? Is there a fence or is there another wall to another building?
That there is a fence,
There's a fence.
there's a fence, so. So where it says storage and interior backyard, that's a fence.
Okay, is that?
Everything else
That's
is
the fence
wall.
right there that you're talking about?
Yeah, but doesn't look like that anymore, we renovated and it looks much cleaner and nicer.
Okay, and what's on the other side of the fence?
It's a backyard of the building that's neighboring us,
Okay,
the
thank you.
82 Washington Place.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think that does,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next application is, the next application is going to be, Miznon Carmine Street LLC, doing business as Miznon at 38 Carmine Street. This is item B2. One second.
No, there shouldn't be, there's just some.
I don't know.
Okay, if you like, to take a look, there are just, few more signatures added on, that's about it. Okay. Just some-
Signatures, okay. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Holt, Michael Kelly Inc., representing the applicant here with the owner Moish. This is a restaurant wine application for Miznon Carmine Street LLC, DBA Miznon. We're located at 38 Carmine Street between Bleecker and Bedford Street. The space was recently occupied by Temperance that had a restaurant wine license. Before that was Karma, who had a restaurant wine license as well. We're a family-friendly Mediterranean restaurant, which has multiple licenses, including one at 61 West 8th Street called Shimone, which has an on-premise liquor license, and an application has been submitted with SLA for Port Said at 350 Hudson Street. That was heard a couple months ago and supported by this committee. We will have 9 tables with 26 seats and a 6-seat bar. Our hours of operation will be 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., 7 days a week. There will be background music. We will be applying for a sidewalk cafe in the future, but it's not part of this application. And there is a backyard which we are not using. We spoke with David Gruber from the Block Association about that. And if there's any other questions, feel free to ask.
Okay, so you will stipulate to not using that rear yard now or in the future, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
I just wanna go over just the DOB so it can.
Go ahead.
I just want to point out the Department of Building said that the rear yard cannot be used.
Okay.
They had the previous applicant had tried to say that it was, including the clutter, and then because it's a R7 zone, just like the last application we heard, the extension of a non-conforming use into the rear yard isn't permitted.
Okay.
Okay, all right, does anybody else in the committee have any questions? There's no TV, there's background music,
Yes, no TV, background music.
11 to 12, 7 days a week. Anybody else have anything? Anybody here from the public? Come on up.
Hi, I'm David Gruber. I'm president of the Carmine Street Block Association. I'm here to support this application. We've talked, he's willing to take an undertaking about not using the backyard, notwithstanding the DOB. The legality of it, as Carter pointed out, but just to reinforce it further. He's asking if he can have outdoor tables, not a shed, but sidewalk tables, as many people do on Carmine, on that side of Carmine. I have no problem with that. He has to take the proper applications for that. What else did we speak about? But generally speaking, I asked him to keep the noise down, because his places could be a little noisy, although he has ones that are also very quiet. So we welcome him into the community. I think he'll be an asset, and that's all I want to say.
Thank you. Any future outside, will that what time, will that close at 10? If you do a sidewalk cafe?
No problem.
Okay. And are there operable doors or windows? I don't think so. So,
No.
so doors will be closed at all times?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else, anybody? Okay, I think that does it, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the next application is going to be, let's see. RDM 14 LLC, doing business at the Guest House, New York City at 423 West 13.
Everyone? Should be, yeah.
Anything new?
Yep. Got there.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Matt Borwick, from Helbron Levy. Here today, I am representing RDM 14th LLC. I'm here today with Rio, who is the CFO. The address is 423 West 13th Street, aka 421 West 13th Street. The application is a full liquor license for a restaurant. There are 30 tables and 94 seats, along with one bar with 10 seats, 104 seats total. The hours of operation are Sunday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 4 p.m. to midnight. There's no TVs, no outdoor space. They do plan to have DJs, but they will be playing at a background level only, just to enhance the ambiance, set a vibe. Soundproofing will be installed to ensure there's no sound leakage. There's also no residents in the building. They may have occasional live music, being a violin, a single violin player, or an acoustic guitar, again, just for ambiance, vibe, set the mood. I do have one correction to the packet in front of you, is that there will be security. They plan to have just one staff member working out of an abundance of caution for the safety of the guests and staff. And again, just to make sure that everyone's experience is excellent. I will now let Rio introduce himself and give a little color about the restaurant and concept.
So, hi, everybody. My name is Rio Welly.
I'm just gonna tell you one thing, there's a dial about midway down, I'll keep going. And you can raise them as we go.
All right, let me start over here. Thank you for having us today. My name is Rio Welly. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for RDM Hospitality. We are a live dining brand, which is a fine dining brand with that DJ that was mentioned. And that DJ is more kind of a background music. I know sometimes people hear DJs and they go, what's going on? But what we do is we typically start off the night with just regular background music. And then around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, we'll have a DJ on a nightly basis take over that background music. We do not elevate the music at all. And we keep it the same as the regular music. And it just adds a vibe element. The live music, it is very limited, and occasionally we'll have a violinist who will walk around the restaurant for about a half hour at a time, just playing a solo violin thing as she walks around. Or we'll have a guitarist doing the same thing to just add a kind of an elegant vibe dining experience to guests. We are a fine dining steakhouse with some seafood. We also have craft cocktails, and we have a really great wine list if you're into wines. And I'm really proud of our company. Our company is owned by Johan Munstein, and I've worked for Johan for 3 years. We're an LGBTQ plus owned company. We give back to the community quite a bit. We're really focused on our community. To speak a little bit about the security, we do get a lot of, at our current restaurants, a lot of politicians, a lot of sports people, a lot of celebrities. And we really care about our employees as well. So that security there is to make sure as those VIPs come in, that everything is handled right and that they have the safety and security they have. But also there for our employees to make sure that, you know, if they're leaving at 10, 11 o'clock at night, that they're safe and that the community's safe. But it has nothing to do with anything more than just having someone there just to reassure everyone everything is good from that standpoint. Questions for me?
Yeah, so the hours, our closing hours mean all patrons are out. So that's 11 p.m. and 12 a.m. I just wanna,
11 and 12.
okay, and, so I also just wanna say this was licensed before. So none of these materials show that.
Yeah, so this kind of just came up today, actually, that the lease was originally for 423. The building is 423 to 421.
Right.
This is something that the landlord raised, that actually the previous licensee was 421.
Right.
So we're going to get that changed in a
We're
minute.
gonna change that.
Correct.
Okay, so it is in that Valbella space,
It
it's
is,
nothing any
yeah.
different, okay. And then, I was just going to remark about the outreach, because it says there was outreach, but I'm the Danforth Neighborhood Association. I searched my emails and I didn't receive anything. Jane Street Block Association, who's a little further away, didn't receive anything, so I just want to point, because I did double check all my different email addresses and I couldn't find anything. I mean, there are no residents right there, but I do represent the group that has been hearing all the applications in this area for going way back.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know that. And, then the other things, cars, especially since you're saying celebrities, VIPs. What's your plan for dealing with the black cars?
Well, So the last thing I want is for black cars, Ubers, Lyfts to double park and be up and down that street from that standpoint. It's the last thing I want to occur there. I want them to be able to be dropped off and move on. And I'm, working to make sure.
Have you hung out at the corner of 13th Street and 9th Avenue at all?
I haven't.
I'm gonna suggest that you do that. I know this area like really well because I live here. So the problem, especially with 13th Street right now, is so you have two ways of getting there. There's only one way to 13th Street, really. If you want a car to drop somebody off specifically in front of your location, they have to go north on 9th Avenue and then go west on 13th Street. At the corner of 9th and 9th Avenue is really the only way north out of the district. It's the only road in the district unless you're over on 10th Avenue, which nobody is on. So right there, that's a problem. The corner of 13th Street and 9th Avenue, you've got the Gansford Hotel. You have Soho House. You have Catch. You now have Chateau Margaux. So all of that is what the black cars have to get through before they get to your restaurant.
Okay.
So they're gonna be jammed up. I'm just telling you because they're already jammed up on that corner of 13th Street anyway. There's another restaurant we heard an application for a couple months ago that's going across the street from you. And I've had the same conversation with them because they also don't want their patrons annoyed by the time they get to their restaurant. I think that's not a good experience for anybody. So I'm going, one of the suggestions that we made to them that I'd make the same one to you is see if you can pinpoint people on Washington Street. That means they'll have to walk, east of a few bit there, but Washington Street doesn't get the same traffic. So that's gonna be a concern, and with all the cars honking, that is what residents blocks away here, because once it jams up on 9th, it jams up down to Greenwich, and right there is where everybody lives, so that's gonna be an annoyance. That's what I see as one of the biggest problems with that, especially as you're saying, you have celebrities and VIPs and everything else, it's all black cars.
And we're willing to work with any solution that you all feel is the best solution.
Yeah.
And willing to work with the local community, local police to say, hey, it's not something.
That's
you
what
want.
they said too, but there's X amount of streets there, and with all these high-end places that all bring celebrities and VIPs, which means they're all coming in black cars. There's just not a lot of
Yeah.
place for people to go, so that's the concern with that. And then the other thing with the DJs, it's the same sort of thing. There's always a hesitancy about having the DJs because it does set the thing. Your PR materials do say that it's a late night lounge. That's what I'm just reading from the PR materials that you gave us, so you know that. There are no residents right there, so even if it is a little bit above background, nobody's going to hear it. What we had the other applicants that were across the street from you commit to in their stipulations is that the background level will be set by a limiter so that it stayed at background, and then even if they had the DJ in there, it's just what that was set at was always through that sound system, and it never changed.
We have no issue with that at all.
Okay. And then, so just to clarify for the live, would that be acoustic? The violin and the guitar, would they be pumped into any amp, or would that just be acoustic? It's just
They
acoustic.
just walk around with their instrument
Okay,
and then they just play throughout the restaurant. It just adds a nice elegant touch to things. And again, it's only done occasionally.
Okay.
And it's a break from the regular DJ or the music overhead.
okay.
I have video of it. I'd love to show you if you're interested.
Sure. Okay, I think that's it for my questions. Does anybody on the committee have anything, Dr. Smith?
It's interesting, you're not the principal, right?
I'm not, Johan is.
And why isn't the principal here?
Johan, I run the business for Johan. Johan is the CEO of In-Kind Hospitality, and it's the nation's largest financer of restaurants nationwide. But he's entrusted me as a partner in the business to run the day-to-day of the business. And that's why I'm here and he's not me.
Thanks. Also, you mentioned that you were no longer going to have a security guard.
No, we are going to have a security guard. It was an error. Yeah, it was an error in the packet, but that was not checked. So I just wanted to make sure that was pointed out. It was in the 30-day notice though.
And you talked about support for the community. Will it only be for the LGBTQ community or the community at large?
Community at large, we provide support, if I may, I would love to tell you. 2 weeks ago, we just did a charity event with the NFL at our Scottsdale location. We raised over $150,000. We had celebrity waiters, all these NFL players came in. We gave that right back to the local community in Arizona. We paid for all of the food in the drink store. We spent $100,000 of our own money, donated that, and then all the funds that were given right back. We are huge at donating back to the communities. It's important to us and our parent company In Kind. We do it all the time. It's really important. It's what our culture is and what we're about.
Well, we'll be hoping that you'll do the same thing. There's lots of need here,
Absolutely,
right? Lots.
absolutely.
I think it's just on. It's just on.
Nice to meet you.
It's just on.
That was on.
Mark, is it on?
Yeah, that was on.
You can hear me okay? Does that work, Mark?
Yep.
Is the name of the restaurant the Guest House?
Yes, at this point, it's the guest house.
Okay, good, because around the corner close to is the RH Guest House, and so when I was reading it, I actually thought it was a Restoration Hardware group. So just FYI. And then the other question I had is about events. So you mentioned giving back to the community, but how often do you expect to hold special events on premises?
It varies by location. We do have an events team that goes out and does events. And depending on the space, this is a really small restaurant compared to our other ones. So there's not a lot of room to do events, but we definitely will do events, especially community events that are important for the community and the surrounding. So typically we can go from having 1 or 2 events a week to 5 or 6 events. It just depends on the market. It just depends, yeah. I mean, we have some large event spaces in some of our other restaurants, but for this particular one, because we don't have that extra event space, I would probably tell you we'd probably be at 1 or 2 events at the most.
A week? Then you close the premises down?
Oh, no, not all close.
Okay,
No,
so-
the plan goes in with the regular.
Okay, okay,
So
so
what
how,
would you define as an event?
We'll host a wedding reception or a rehearsal dinner or things like that, but we have private rooms in our other locations. I don't foresee us doing that here because there's not that space. We will spend most of our time doing regular business here. If there is an event that is either a community event that comes to us or a larger group that would like to rent out the restaurant, we would then take that for consideration for sure.
let me rephrase the question then. How many private parties do you think you'll have a year? And by that, I mean, close the whole premises down.
At this location?
Yeah, this location.
Probably 1 or 2 every quarter,
So
not many.
24 a year, does that,
Well, 24 to tops a year.
24 a year?
Yeah.
Okay. That's more, I think, what we were getting at.
Yes. Sorry about not
Yeah,
understanding.
Yeah, okay, no, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, does anybody else on the committee have anything else? No. Is there anybody here from the public on this application?
What- what-
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, price point, because I don't see a menu or anything like that in the package here.
There is a
Yeah.
menu.
There is.
Yeah, don't worry, it's not there.
Yeah, listen, we are a high-end steakhouse, so we have wagyu and it does seem pricey, but we also have items on there that start in the $20 range. We have items like, one of our most amazing sellers is a chicken tender. We have a fresh chicken tender for $21 on that menu. We also have happy hour items starting at $8. So there are some reasonable ones in there, but there are also some higher priced ones because it's the quality that we do. We're a really high-end quality steakhouse.
Okay,
Thanks.
You're
Thank
welcome.
okay, good luck.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, the next application is going to be D6 Hospitality Inc. doing business as Grove next door at 61 Grove.
You want a second?
Okay. Does anything change?
No, nothing has changed from this.
This is your.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. This next door, and that's. Anyone who's wrong? Yeah.
And my name is Conor Higgins, as my partner Nick Immersion. We are the owners of Grove Street Social, 61 Grove Street. We're here to present our proposal for Grove Next Door, which is the space that was formerly the marijuana store, for want of a better way. We are not newcomers to the block. We have Grove Street Social has served the West Village for the last 3 years as a neighborhood bar and restaurant. I guess in a local hospitality scene that can feel increasingly high end and visitor driven, we work to be something a little bit different. Consistent, welcoming presence for the people who actually live on Grove Street and in the surrounding streets. Grove Next Door will be a continuation of that same philosophy, a warm seated bar and food environment with thoughtful cocktails, beer, wine, approachable food, and attentive service that we're known for. The concept doesn't change who we serve or how we operate. The reason we're doing it is pretty quickly, maybe a year in, we realized we had kind of already outgrown the space. Week on week, we have our regulars, our neighbors, our friends coming by saying they wanted to come and hang out with us. There was no seats, and honestly, it's incredibly frustrating to hear that. So when our landlord called us recently and told us the space next door was available, obviously that was very exciting for us, and we jumped at the opportunity. Our commitment to the neighborhood runs far beyond the daily operations. We sponsored the Greenwich Village Film Festival for the last 3 years. We participate heavily in the spring planting. We host the Grove Street Block Association Christmas parties each year. We try to really contribute to the neighborhood as best we can. We love the village. We've really made some dear friends since we started here, and all we really want to do now is invest further in that and become a bigger part of what we could do in the village. What we are proposing is will be 11 tables with 44 seats and 12 bar seats. In the packet we will also be looking for a sidewalk cafe. We're gonna pause that for right now. Michael Kelly's gonna deal with that with the DOT with all the regulations and stuff. And we'll revisit that, but I left it in just so you can see kind of an idea of what we're hoping to get from them. But we can talk to you about that and that all goes about. The hours of operation, we're hoping to do Sunday to Wednesday noon to midnight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday noon to 2 a.m. The entrance of this space opens pretty much right onto 7th Avenue. We did extensive community outreach on this, specifically in the building. We got huge support on our signature pages, and also, as you can see, with letters of support, letters of referral from a number of people in the neighborhood, which was a really nice thing, and nice letters to read actually for us. The food operation, unlike Grove Street Social, there's no vented kitchen in this space, but we will have electric, and we will have a fully operational food menu. That will operate over the close. So I think apart from that,
This is a tavern license though, right?
it is. I did that specifically because we were trying to figure out the logistics of the kitchen scenario. We will and do have a full food offering.
Okay.
No DJs, no dancing, background music, 3 TVs for sporting events. That TVs, as same as grocery, we don't have them on unless there's a game, if there's something specific on. And really that's it. We love the neighborhood. We want to be able to serve it as best we can, and we feel like this is a thoughtful way to solve the problem we have had in terms of, people just not being able to come and see us what they want to. That's kind of that.
Okay, so the hours of your other place are closes at 12 and 1.
So when we met you 3.5 years ago at this point, probably, we didn't have any New York experience at the time. That was a big thing for us, that we needed to kind of build some trust on that. What's increasingly frustrating for us on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays specifically, we don't have any interest in being late night any other days, is everyone leaves us who goes next door or goes across the street to the Spaniard or Wilfie's or wherever. And really, we're just looking for that extra hour in the new spot will allow people to leave Grove Street Social, for instance, and go. If they want to get another late bite or a last drink, they can do that with us instead of going to our competitors. We have no interest in 4 a.m. or 3 a.m., but 2 a.m. will be just
really helpful for us. in
And,
this.
and you need that all 3 nights, because I know Dr. Smith is going to say.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Dr. Smith.
I mean, Thursday is the school night and,
It is, but like, I think we spoke about this a few years back. Thursday has become, since COVID, almost like the new Friday. That's the reality. People work from home on Fridays. I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but certainly that's what we have found. Thursday nights, and listen, like we're very lucky. Our clientele, our customers, our regulars, we don't have rowdy people in. It's not a loud thing. We're not pouring people out onto the street after hours. It is just a reality of the world we live in now that.
But young people go to school on Fridays.
Oh, no, I understand that, yeah. No, I understand that. And for this particular one, as I said, the door pretty much opens on the 7th Avenue, like other places that have opened, even after we opened Grove Street Social have been given 2 AM leeway on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So I guess all we're asking for is a fair shake.
okay. The TVs, how big are the TVs? Just roughly, I mean, because I put this in, fine.
Yeah,
I've had this happen where I don't ask that question, then I send a stick that says
Oh.
55 inches and they say no, so I just,
yeah, I get what's a normal TV set? Like 55 inch,
55,
55, yeah. In Grove, that's what. Yeah.
Laura, did you have something?
Just so I'm clear, so this is a totally separate space, Grove Street Social.
Unfortunately, yes, there's no way for us to do that because the residential door runs down the middle. So while we are treating it as an expansion, the reality is it's a new license and it's a separate.
Yeah, okay, I was trying to
I know.
noodle on this, looking at it, and I was like, why can't you?
To be honest, we exhausted every avenue on this. We went to the basement, we looked at, but it wasn't.
I understand.
Yeah.
So there's a separate kitchen then in.
So, yes, correct, yeah. We're not gonna be running food. There's not gonna be any commingling of food. That's the reason we went for the tavern license. Really, the operation for us isn't gonna be anything different, but we had to figure out what we were gonna do kitchen wise. So we're gonna have some electric stuff. There's a full prep kitchen there anyway, because it used to be Big Gay Ice Cream. So they had a bunch of stuff set up, which is fantastic. So we have to just work within the constraints that we have there, but we've managed to come up with a full food offering to do that.
It almost feels like a better space than the current one.
It is, yeah. It's significantly better, even though the square footage is effectively the same. The space we have currently kind of does this, so yeah, no, it is a much better space for
I
sure.
don't know if you can switch the signage, but anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so then the other thing, there's a letter of no objection to the eating and drinking?
Yeah.
Okay. It says for the first floor, but I'm just trying to figure out which first floor, since it's,
Yeah,
for both of those
we spoke
places.
to, so our lawyers, Bob Romano,
Yeah.
and he looked into this and he said that's the SLA, there's no issue with that. Now, I'm happy to have him look at that further before he submits it, but.
Well, I mean, just because if you combine the two spaces,
Right,
right, it's like 88, it's not under 75, and that's without staff. So
yes,
the seating between the two spaces
right,
is not under 75, so I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Which space this applies to, and if it applies to both, and to, you see what my confusion is.
no, I do, absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, to the best of my knowledge, this is what Bob has researched for us, so, and our expediters also.
Okay, and then I would like to talk about the sidewalk seating.
Yeah, sure.
So what time were you thinking of closing that, or would you close it at 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
Sidewalk
Yeah,
seating,
10
okay, and then the other, I realize that you haven't gone through the DOT process yet,
No,
but that corner. I mean, you're there, so you
Yeah.
know how crazy it is on the sidewalk with you not having any seats
well,
out
that's
there.
why we like to put the seats there.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to make a suggestion that you seriously measure everything very carefully.
Mhm.
So that, because your comp up one looks lovely. The little
Yeah.
comp looks
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
And the seating that you're putting there doesn't look like your cute little comp. It looks like the comp only has 2 seats in front of, like on the Grove seat side.
Yeah, correct.
and you fitting three in there, and just looking at, no, and just looking at the way this is, I don't know how you fit three chairs and one. Two.
And then over
Well,
here.
right, and then
it
there
comes
you're
all the
putting,
way-
no, I know,
Yeah.
but just because of how crowded that all is, and
Yeah.
you're right on the corner spot, and it's a really busy intersection
So I
of
guess,
everything, you're gonna have to go back and
Oh,
use the
sorry.
microphone. I'm not going to sit here and haggle over streets
No.
as long as the measurements are, but
Yeah.
it's really important
sure,
that area, that whatever you're doing, all your service and everyththing else happens with, that one, that you have a perimeter on it.
yes,
Two, that the service happens within that perimeter,
absolutely,
and three, that the clear path is really maintained right there, because it's already, as you know, insane.
absolutely, and it's one thing, like, we've taken it upon ourselves for when we opened Grove Street Social, is one thing on that street and around the corner is this lines of people trying to get in, like, we don't do that, we make a point of not doing that. Specifically for the Grove next door space, I don't know if you're aware that Andy's Deli is there, but they have the flower setup.
Yeah.
So really all we're doing is coming up to the point of the
Extend.
flower setup.
No, I
and then
know.
Continuing,
But,
that's our,
but you're right by the corner, that's the only, that's the,
Yeah.
you know, it just gets congested at that.
but so
Corner,
this is
so.
why we've asked Michael Kelly to do this for us. He's the top guy at this stuff. He's got an architect on his staff that will do the drawings. These are not the drawings that are gonna be.
Right,
he's gonna-
okay.
Yeah, so this is just a reference point.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
so you will, you know, you'll have to notify us when you're doing
No,
that, but
absolutely.
any stipulations would say that any future seating will close at 10, so that way then,
Yes,
if we can waive your appearance, we can waive
Awesome.
your appearance when
Yeah.
that comes
great.
around. Does anybody on the committee have other comments?
These
Well,
two big windows don't open.
No, they don't.
Does anybody else have anything? So there's no movement on the hours. I just wanna, because I know we have another committee member who has said that it's late. You know, open till 2 AM, 3 next week.
Look, I guess all, I think I don't wanna repeat myself over and over, all we're asking for is a fair shake in comparison to the other operations around there. I think we run a very good, clean, responsible place in Grove Street Social. We're gonna be doing exactly the same thing next door. Our staff are very attentive. With all of that in mind, I'm sure you can understand how, like, it's heartbreaking to see people leave at 1 AM to go across the street and spend their money. It's expensive time. That's a.
Okay, okay, all right, I think that does it for everybody. Okay, thank you. Okay, the next application. Oh. Okay, come back up. I don't have this part in front of me, so I filled it out. Well, if I don't have it here, I don't know that it's filled out. Anyway, come on up. It doesn't matter, come up, you can, yeah. I should have asked, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Susan Ginsburg and I live in the neighborhood and I've known these gentlemen now since right before they opened. When I remember coming to this meeting for their first application. And we all thought that this is really wonderful because it's such a tough street. And they have done everything just perfectly. They have to fight the lines for Marie's Crisis, for Arthur's Tavern. It's very noisy. They're not noisy. They have 2 tables outside. They're never overflowed. They don't have a line. So when they came to us and said, we're going to have this new space. Well, I think it's just wonderful because it is a complicated corner with a lot of drug addicts. And the longer they can stay open, the better it is, because we have people taking pictures from a building and that corner just has drug activity all night long. So we give them all the credit in the world for these complicated things. And it's very nice. I walk my dog every night up there around 10:30 or 11. And it's just calm and they're really neighbors. Look, I don't drink. I'm old, so I don't go to a bar. They don't want me hanging out in there. But I can see the clientele. They're always very polite. You don't have anybody screaming. And even with the Knicks games, there's people hanging out the windows basically because they had the the TVs. And it was just lovely. It was a real neighborhood event. Everybody, we all know them. Well, anyway, it's just, I really hope that they get this space and that the food will be good. And then I can go because it won't be as crowded and even.
And you're okay with, the hours are okay with you?
Yeah, well, you know, Thursday night, I know what they're saying now. Thursday night in the village is very busy. It's sort of like the Friday used to be. And it's not calm like Monday and Tuesday where we feel like we're in Paris or something lovely. And now it's just bedlam.
Even there, huh?
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are bedlam. I mean, it's really hard to walk, but I got another injury. Yeah, from another line. They
Okay.
protect me.
Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, great, thank you,
Yeah,
Susan.
see another broken ankle now from the line.
Thanks, Susan, okay.
Thank you.
Good. Sorry I missed you.
No, that's okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, next one is Avion Group LLC, doing business as Nightingale, New York City, 37 Carmine Street. This is, a class change to an on-premise and a method of operation. JM, and, this is item C2A2, and I think there's a sidewalk being added as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello, my name is Frank, and I'm the owner of Nightingale. It's actually part of Avion LLC, or commonly known as Nightingale. We have been in business at 37 Carmine Street for the past 22 months. We believe we have operated with excellence within this time. Our Google rating, 80% of it is 5 stars. We're adored by a vast majority of the neighbors living on the street. Over 150 of them have signed petitions supporting this application. And about, I would say at least 10 or 15 of them have gone beyond that, actually written personal letters directly from themselves to the SLA. You can see all of that in the binder. I don't want to reference page numbers, there'll be too many page numbers to reference, but nevertheless, all those records are there. Or do we have opposition? Yes, we do. We do have, but the grand total of those neighbors who oppose us is 2 compared to the 200 that are in favor of us. And those 2, by the way, were in opposition well before we even opened up. So there's very little we can do to help that. But we have tried to operate very responsibly, which is the reason why pretty much every single resident in the very building that we reside in above us has supported us. So when it comes to the noise management, there are 3 different types of sound reduction or soundproofing you can do. I came to learn of it after owning this bar. And we didn't employ the best one out of the 3. We employed all 3 of them. So we have 3 layers of soundproofing that's being done. Receipts for all of that work has been supplied previously, both to CB2 and to SLA. So here we are requesting an extension on weekend hours only, Fridays and Saturdays only, from midnight closing to 2 a.m. closing. And we are requesting a class change from beer and wine to full liquor. As far as sidewalk cafe, we don't have one. There was a stipulation that we're not allowed to have one, so we have asked for that stipulation to be removed. And we have applied with the DOT for a sidewalk cafe. There's only 8 seats. Just to give you a context, our sidewalk space is 330 square feet, and we're only asking to utilize only 60 square feet of it, 8 seats only. And that's about it. I'll take any questions.
Okay, so when you were here last time, CB2 recommended denial of your application for the Tavern one. And then we were up at the liquor authority, and the liquor authority granted your Tavern wine license and put the 12 p.m. closing 7 nights a week
Yeah.
on the license.
Yeah.
And put the stipulation that there would be no outside seating. That was put on by the liquor authority.
That's right.
So that was back in, I believe,
November
April of 2025.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. The certificate we got was in November, but yes, you're right. The hearing was.
The hearing was in April 2025, so it's barely a year later. I'm just trying to figure out what's different. And what has changed since then? Because we were all up there at the liquor authority and that's what they gave you. So a lot of these signatures, there were duplicate signatures in here. These are all from that time. This was all submitted
Yeah.
for that hearing. So this isn't new. This is the same information that was up at the liquor authority when they made that determination back in April. So it's unclear to me what's changed in this situation since then.
So let me answer all of that in sequence. As far as the decision during the SLA meeting for no outdoor seating. If you remember, that's also on the record. None of those things ever even came up for discussion in the entire meeting.
Wait,
In fact,
are you saying at the liquor authority meeting it didn't come?
Exactly.
It absolutely did come up because Chair Fan very specifically said no outdoor seating.
Yes, ma'am. I'm
And
coming
she
to that.
also very specifically said never.
Oh.
I can read from the transcript if you would like me to.
I'm very well aware of that. That's what I'm coming to. Let me, allow me to explain, please. What I'm trying to say, it was never discussed, meaning it was never up for debate. The only thing that was debated was how late will we be open? And when the decision came, 4 stipulations were handed down with the decision. 1, no outdoor seating, 12 a.m. closing, no private events, and no ticketed sales. None of those issues ever even came up for discussion. We frankly do not know how they were handed down to us at the end of the meeting. So we were asking to kindly remove that stipulation so we can apply for outdoor seating again. Well, meaning we were not even allowed to we weren't even given a chance to justify why we should have outdoor seating. It never came up for a discussion. It was a decision handed down at the end.
Because they didn't think that having outdoor seating at that location was appropriate for a bar with residences right next door. They'd be right outside the window. They're outside on the ground floor.
We're
But
coming,
that was the discussion. Actually, there was a discussion. And that was the discussion they had up at the liquor authority, was to say that they thought it was inappropriate for you to be having seating outside right immediately adjacent to somebody's apartment window at this location, especially being that you're a bar and not a restaurant. That's what they said. So that was the discussion that they had with you about that. And the hours was another discussion. And actually, the reason you were there was just for the granting of any liquor license at all. So that was also the discussion, was whether there should be a liquor license at this location, because CB2 recommended that there be no liquor license at that location. And this being a beer and wine license at that time, it's basically granted. There is no public interest with the beer and wine license. So they granted the license, but they put stipulations on it as a compromise for the residents in the neighborhood. It's a residential block, it's a residential neighborhood, and that's the stipulations that they put on it at that time. So I'm trying, you're asking for a class change, so the public interest does come into the conversation. You're asking for the seating, which it's still residents, ground floor apartments right next door to your premises. This is still a tavern, whether it's with full liquor now, so people will having full cocktails outside, right next to people's apartment windows. So I'm trying to understand what's different.
so let me try and answer that. There are 43 commercial venues on Carmine Street. Every single one of them have outdoor seating, and they're all literally 1 foot apart from each other. We're the only ones that denied.
And as Chair Fan said to you at the time, this was a previously unlicensed location. You chose to go into the previously unlicensed location. Many of these other establishments, a good majority of them, are full-service restaurants.
I cannot deny that. The reality is, it's my first time in hospitality, and that was a mistake that I would never make again. That I was naive, and I did not actually know that for me to operate as a bar, I needed to go into a place that was previously licensed. In fact, if I could take that decision back, I would. I had absolutely no idea. It was my first time doing this.
I'm
But
also
nevertheless.
just gonna say that it's not necessarily that you do that, but with the request to stay open till 2 a.m. and to open a bar in a residential neighborhood in a previously unlicensed location, other things come into consideration with that.
I understand that, but this is why I'm saying that we've been operating for 22 months now, and there vast majority of the residents absolutely love us there. In fact, a whole bunch of them, about 6 of them wanted to be here. As luck would hardly have it, the date is such that 4 of them are in Europe right now and 2 of them are on business trip down south. So there was a bunch of them wanted to show up here, and I would gladly submit letters from them directly to you. I would even venture to say that I would submit letters from at least 40 or 50 of them who downright live right above us, across from us, and on either side of us, with the exception of the 2 who are opposed to us. The vast majority of this street, the actual community that we're talking about, is still with us. They call us their favorite bar on the street, because we offer something very upscale with very affordable prices, as you can see in the menu.
Okay, I just still don't understand what has changed and
I feel that
why,
we've proven
we
ourselves.
would come to a different conclusion tonight than we came to, you know, a year ago, a year and a half ago, and still went up to the liquor authority and discussed with them up there and what is different to them.
What's different today, in my opinion, is that we now have a proven record of having done it well, where community still supports us, good 99% of them, and Google reviews don't lie. 80 out of 100, 8 out of 10 reviews are 5 stars. The only 1 or 2 reviews that we have 1 star actually claim about the fact that we don't have full liquor, we're still a bar.
You still have residents, so did you have insulated the wall in your premises that's?
Like I said, that wall's uninsulated, but that's 18-inch thick brick wall.
Then the sound travels right through the brick.
Ma'am, I have even reached out to Miss Rebecca and offered to prove her side of the apartment wall
But
at my
can you
expense.
cover that wall on the inside? Can you
Yeah,
sound that wall?
That wall will require breaking down the entire place,
You don't,
because that,
can't you put something on top of that wall to cover that wall?
what I'm trying to explain to you, that wall is one, and again, it's an 18-inch concrete wall. Nothing is getting through that, but let me explain. The entire bar is physically built with all the equipment of that bar, and from floor to ceiling, the entire wine rack, it will literally require me to completely break down the entire venue and build it up again. And the only reason why that one is not soundproof is because it was roofing company itself to be an 18-inch thick concrete. Nothing was going to get through. They've soundproofed everything 3 times over.
Yeah.
Even the people who shared basically a plank with us, our ceiling and their floor, they have 0 complaint because our soundproofing is so good. In fact, they've endorsed the application.
Anybody on the committee have anything? Pardon?
Yeah, I just, I'm just looking at a picture on Google Street View of the church.
Yes, sir.
And it shows that the door, or the closest to you within the entrance of the 3 doors is open and looks like it's being used.
Yes, sir. So we have submitted the actual survey. So
No, I've seen the survey, but I'm just saying I see a door that's being used.
Yeah.
That is closer to your establishment than the door that you indicate.
yes, sir.
And look, Google Street Views is just, you know, the random car driving through on random daytime.
Yeah.
And the door is open, so it looks like it's being used, so I'm just
You're
wondering.
talking
why-
about the 3 doors, right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering why that door is not used.
Yes, sir. So
As a.
among those 3 doors, I have walked by the church every single day and I've taken photographs. I have dated photographs for an entire month, every single day of the month. Those 3 doors, even the one with the closest one to us, were still 209 feet away. The one door that was in question is not a part of those main entrance of those 3 doors. It's actually a completely separate door, which is the church office. It's not a patron's door. That's the one which is 193 feet away. The 3 doors that you're talking about, the closest one to us is 209 foot, 209.
No, that's not true in the survey, you can refer to it in your package.
Yeah.
That has, where it has looks like it's block 20 or lot 25.
Yeah.
The center door is the center door of the church, but there is a door to the left that is also part of lot 25, and that's the picture of the door that's open.
Yeah.
So generally, if there's exterior door hardware that you can pull open, it counts as a door. for an entrance into the church. I mean, that's established. Case law, it's not unusual, it's regularly used with the liquor authority. I mean, they'll do their own survey, but I'm just
Exactly, yeah.
pointing out, because you just sort of seem to discount that door.
Oh, so fair question, sir. The best way I can answer it is, again, I'm not an architect myself, nor a department of building or an SLA expert. We had a land survey company and they did it according to them by the book. And if you actually look at page number 19 of this, 19, I believe it is, it might be 19 and 20. They literally, this is the excerpt from the SLA rule book itself. And they underline the measurement has to be what they deem as the door which is regularly used, which is a big center door.
Right, and the regularly used doors is any door that's used for somebody to enter into the main part of the church. It's the same that's used for school for any measurement. It's only an emergency exit door that doesn't count, that does not have exterior hardware on it that you can pull open. That's. You can look at you can go over any on the SLA website, any of the divisional orders, and I forget the name of what they're currently, but it has all the definitions basically of how the law is applied. And that's why I'm just curious, you're saying that door is not used for any of the congregants in the church to enter the church.
Yes, sir, I can answer because that, all I can tell you is, like I said, I'm not an
Have you gone into
expert.
the church?
Excuse me?
Have you walked into the church? So can you see that door from?
Never, in fact.
No, when you walk into the church.
Yeah.
Is
May
there a
I
row of
take a
doors?
look
in
at
front?
which particular door you're referring to? I don't have the
Sure.
advantage of
Yeah,
looking at.
well, you look at page 18 on your submission.
I gave away last month. It's 18.
Right here.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the open door right there. That's the very door we're talking about.
Well, no, that's not the door that,
The door to the left,
This is the office door.
the door to the left of it.
yeah, this door here.
Our measurements from this door.
At the very edge of this door. Not even the closest edge of this door.
It's not an office door.
Yeah, the church office, I know because the community board, previous district manager visited regularly, the office is actually in the building next door.
I've been to several times in the office, and this door that you're referring to is never, ever open.
Okay, but that's not the requirement.
It is
The
very much the
requirement-
requirement, which is the patron entrance.
I
In
thought
fact,
you
that
were-
door doesn't even go.
No, I'm just saying it's not, it's any entrance into the building that's used by people to enter in to their, and the criteria for them, this is exterior door hardware. We've had this issue come up in a number of different locations, and it's the exterior door hardware. If there is no way that you can pull that door open, it doesn't count. If there is, it actually does. If you can go up there and open that door, that's what counts as an entrance.
So I would be willing to accept whatever ruling, SLA hands down or whichever department it is that rules on the door ruling. So we'll fully accept that. We're saying if this were correct as it is done by an independent surveyor, or would you allow us an OP license? I cannot debate the.
Well, it's not up to us. I mean, it's a statutory requirement that you can't go around, is what I'm just saying. And I'm just questioning because you have an expert that actually doesn't indicate any uses of what these doors are. So you presented to this information to us that a surveyor has done, which their expertise is measurement, right? And they actually haven't indicated what the uses of any of these doors are. So what's being presented to us as a fait accompli actually doesn't have any of the information required as far as use of each of the doors, because it's the use that determines where the measurements are made from, not the measurements themselves. So that's why I bring that up.
So what I'll say is, sir, I mean, the excerpt of SLA rules that have been attached there is not attached by us. It's attached from the surveyor. Those are the architects who hold SLA ruling and measured exactly according to SLA ruling, and they're the ones who highlighted those.
But I don't see anything that indicates the use of each of the doors on them. And that is what the measurements requirements are from. And it's not something that can be overlooked or that the liquor authority can say, oh, we think it's okay in this case. It's one of the very few elements in liquor licensing that it's either yes or no.
Which is what I'm saying, that
That's why I just
we'll
bring
accept
that
whatever
up,
their ruling is.
because you don't have any indication of what these other doors are used for, and so this doesn't actually provide us any detail. And this is a factor that we brought up, and we had this very discussion the first time we came.
Yes.
And this is probably the same report, correct?
Oh, it's actually not, sir, it's a beautiful, but,
Isn't this the same thing we
oh,
have?
I'm sorry, the excerpts that I supplied was not in the last one, so, but
No, the measurements of
The
it.
measurement.
the measurement, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
otherwise we would not have gone to you.
That's what I just bring up. I mean, this, if you go to, if you review any of these cases when they're before the members of the authority, it's always what is the use of each door and why or why not does that door count? And this doesn't actually include any of that. It just has the measurement. So it's not really helpful as a final determiner of that, because the element that counts is what is the use of each door.
Okay, so on that one, I can submit to you, something in the very near future. I've already gone to the church office 3 times. I've spoken to this lady named Linda. I'm sorry, I do not know the last name. And I've spoken to her about this very issue, asking her for a letter specifying which is the regular entry door for the patrons. And she has verbally confirmed to me the door that we have in the survey is actually the regular entry door for patrons. It's just that she had told me that she is not in authority to issue me a letter. She will talk to the pastor and have the pastor issue a letter. And we're not asking for a pastor of the church endorsement or anything of the sort. We simply want the facts. We're simply asking for a letter. Just let us know whichever is your main entry door. And according to the church official itself, the door in the picture is the main or the regular use entry door.
But there could be multiple doors that are regularly used for ingress. That's why I said that the liquor authorities determine it's the hardware on the door. And you may not like this, Dr. Smith, but this actually throws this out as an application period.
What do you mean about it?
Oh, I don't know,
What do
you're
you
just
mean?
whispering under your breath. I'm just saying that this
Excuse
actually
me?
throws this out.
Excuse me? Why would you say I did not like it?
Oh, I don't know. You seem to be distressed that I'm asking the question, but
I seem to be in distress. I think, first of all, that's extremely impolite of you. Unless you think you're a mind reader or something, I would.
Oh, I'm,
Hearing it
wait,
myself.
okay,
And let's not go there, but I do have a question.
go ahead, Dr. Smith.
Thank you. And I hope we're being recorded, I think so. I don't quite understand what Carter is talking about. This was the question. I'm looking at this package that you gave us. What is, on page 19, you have 2 things in red that are circled. What are those, sir?
Oh, ma'am, so that entire 8-page package is a direct excerpt from the SLA rule book on how to measure distance from a place of worship to a bar. So we basically.
500 foot.
For the
200
200, within 200 feet of the church, you cannot have a full liquor license. That's what this whole argument is about, discussion is about. And he has attached all the information from the alcoholic beverage control.
That was my question.
To find out, and Carter is trying to explain.
I know what
it.
Carter's trying
Okay,
to do.
so that's why we're having this discussion.
Yeah, I know what you're trying.
Okay, because,
Thank you.
You're a mind reader.
okay, so does anybody else have anything from the committee on this? I'll go to the public, okay. Public, I have, Nick McCosey. David Gruber.
Hi, I'm Nick.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Nick McCosey. I, moved into Downing Street, and on the Downing Street and Bedford Street block since 1999. I really like the club. It's the bar is really elegant, very beautiful. It's something the neighborhood doesn't have. It doesn't make noise. It has really nice atmosphere and hopefully great drinks. I've had some good stuff there, but I'm hoping with a full license, it has the ability to have full cocktails. And as opposed to a lot of other stuff around with NYU kids and whatever. It's just not that kind of place, and I really like that. It is a kind of a calm, inviting, warm, neighborhood feeling place. And I just really appreciate that. So I realize there's technicals, it seems like, to have the place be able to operate, but I'm hoping that it'll be able to.
To operate with a full liquor license, it's all
Correct,
correct.
yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. David Gruber.
I didn't sign the thing.
Okay,
I'm here.
please, please fill out a speaker card in the back, they're in the back, and hand it to me. If there's anybody else who wishes to speak on the application, please fill out a speaker card and hand it to me. You can lower it in the middle if you want, okay, yep.
Well, you may not get a letter from the pastor, but we do. It says, to whom it may concern, please be advised, this is from the pastor of the church, that all doors on Carmine Street frontage lead directly to the church and are open at different times and used by various related church functions and activities during the year, signed by the pastor of the church. I think I put it in your package, so you can take a look at that. So I don't know who we spoke to, the secretary, here's a letter from the pastor, who knows better? So that's the, I wanted.
David, you're gonna have to lower that or.
You have to talk into the mic.
Or.
I got it.
Because we can't, it's not the microphone.
No worries, here's that.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. We spent a lot of time on this application even before. I don't know about the signatures. I don't know about 200 people. I'm president of the Block Association. I haven't heard a lot of people think that this is a great idea. I don't know how he presented the survey for people to sign. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that when he first came here, we had 7 or 8 people, which is quite a lot from the community, to show up at a community board meeting. It's hard to get up to the SLA up on 125th Street, but I've been there twice, 3 times for this application. And so has Rebecca, who is the next door neighbor, who his wall is abutting him. And by the way, just to clarify it, yes, you could buffer a brick wall. You put sheetrock in and you leave air between the sheetrock and the brick wall, so you have an air buffer. You know, he doesn't want to do it. I don't know who he's hiring, but you know, this is a pretty simple thing to do. He had on his website, which he's taken off, that he was closed at 2 o'clock on the weekends in the morning. Although Lily Fan, chair of the state SLA, said, no, you have a 12 o'clock hard close Monday to Friday. That's been violated. He has lots and lots of parties disturbing not only this neighborhood, but the community at large. I don't know that he has all these, I just don't know. This guy just kind of like this, one of the bad actors on Carmine Street. And I'm sorry that he feels that he can't make a living or this or that. You know, he knew it when he took it, that this was, as you say, first time application. But he also, you know, he paid a rent that reflected that it wasn't possible to vent. I met with him. I told him 15 ways that he could have food menu and not vent. You know, how do I know this? Because I owned a restaurant that wasn't vented, but that was ignored. He just wants what he wants, and he wants an OP license, and he wants outdoor tables. When they say that these tables in the R zone, this woman, Rebecca, who's gonna come up shortly, could reach out of her window with the tables and grab, you know, a cup of coffee. That's how tight it is, you know. And we can't have tables. The SLA, how do you call it? The SLA committee,
The commissioners.
commission, you know, they saw the same thing. And that's why they said no tables ever. But he has a lot of private functions. She's gonna testify how people ring her bell, urinate in, you know.
Well, let her testify.
I'll let her testify.
Do your own
Okay.
testimony and let.
Okay. I'll let her testify. That's why I wanted her to testify first. In any event, the business with the church is clear. I took a survey physically myself. It was 171 feet from his store to the third door, which the pastor says is used by church activity, you know, year round. Whether he, Carter points out it has the hardware to open, whether he sees it open or not is his problem. I don't know. So that's what I want to say. And let Rebecca say who has more hands-on experience with what's going on. Thank you for this.
Okay.
Thank you, committee.
Thanks. Rebecca?
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a 30-year resident of my apartment 39 Carmine, which is, I share a wall with Frank's business. The wall goes through the entirety of the length of my apartment. So there's this inference that I'm maybe lying about the soundproofness. I can give you a million examples. One comes to mind where the bar was blasting Stop Making Sense. I could sing it to myself from my apartment, so I went outside, went into the bar and told them to turn it down. And my voice is shaking because I can't believe we're here again after everything we went through last year. Nothing has changed except for one thing, which is Frank is starting to have private parties. Since the ruling in April, there was on Saturday nights now, there are private parties where he imports bar people for parties outside of our neighborhood. They go on past midnight. And a recent example was, it was a party for like a private party for like a younger crowd. And one of the patrons, I think around 1 a.m, wanted to pee and he couldn't get back into the bar. So he started to headbutt my front door, 39 Carmine, repeatedly. And then out of frustration, he urinated in the doorway. So if for some reason Frank would be allowed to continue to have private parties, close after midnight, at the minimum, I would ask for security to control these post-bar get-togethers. Another example is Frank had like maybe an engagement party, a bunch of women. And I could hear, it was 1 o'clock in the morning and the crowds had packed his bar at my front door. And I could hear Frank going, "Shh, there's this woman, she's against us, you have to calm down." And then the last example I'll leave you with, and I'm sure you remember, sorry, I remember this, Frank, sorry, it was last July 25, 1:30 in the morning, group of women laughing, having a great time, they've left the bar. I wake up and I see the bartender at 1:30 in the morning putting out garbage. And I call out to my window and I was like, "We just had a ruling, you guys are supposed to close at midnight." And the bartender said, no, we close at 2. And I was like, "No, you don't, you close at midnight." And he's like, "Frank, come over here." So Frank comes to my window, I can smell the alcohol on his breath, and he's pissed. And we do a fairly ugly back and forth, me too, because I was mad. And finally he said, "Fuck you, Rebecca, it's war." And he stormed off. And that's our last interaction.
Okay. Mark?
Mar,
Mark.
not Mar.
I would like to say that the measurements and the criteria for a door used as regular ingress or egress for parishioners to attend services here, seems to me that this 209 that Frank claims is actually accurate. I would also say that Frank has now several times gone to the neighbors for support, and every time they've given the support And when he comes here, that support is dismissed. It's not checked, it's not followed up on. There are a few people who are in opposition to this, but from all the neighbors that I've spoken to, the people I know that live on that block, they support this business. There's so much activity on this block. There are so many bars. There are so many restaurants who are taking up so much space. At the very least, he should be able to have a few seats outside, I believe, and a fighting chance to be able to succeed. I don't believe he is being treated fairly by this board. We talked about what happened at SLA, and it is, presented as, well, Chair Fan decided this, but these things don't come out of a vacuum. Every stipulation on this man's license was instigated and pushed by this board. And it just seems, after spending yesterday and today watching this meeting, and after serving for years on this committee, it is just clear that this applicant is not being treated the way other applicants are, or fairly at all. He deserves a chance, a real chance.
Thank you. I have a question for you, Mark. We had one of the same issues. Yeah, we had one of the same issues that our board was reviewing a cannabis application, which was in a residential neighborhood zone, just the same way this one was, in a non-conforming space that the board argued shouldn't be licensed, but was in fact licensed because the Department of Buildings said that it could be used as a commercial establishment. And I think that the same issue is the pressure on residential neighborhoods where there aren't supposed to be other commercial uses. And what we have here is a bar application in a residential neighborhood, and exclusively with non-conforming uses. So I don't think that the pressure is the same. I mean, is there something that I'm missing?
Yes, there is something that you're missing, the fact that Carmine Street is a completely commercial strip, whether people live there or not.
But it's not.
There are
that's not the-
tons of licenses there, and it is not the same as
They're not
James
other
Street.
like bars.
And by the way, that is incorrect. Department of Buildings did not allow commercial there. It's just nobody said anything. And so now that dispensary is opening because nobody did anything about it. But in this instance, this is a business that already exists. It's been open for 22 months, and it is one on a block of multitude of similar and same businesses. So why is this one different, is the question. And it's not just the one neighbor.
Other bars, because I think that was what it
Listen,
came down to. in the
That is
beginning,
what it came, was a previously unlicensed
was
location.
whether it was a
yeah,
restaurant.
but it's been open 22 months now. So it just, what is the goal here? To run this business into the ground? I'm not seeing any path to a solution to allow this business to have a fighting chance. It's just no, no, no. What is it that this board would like to see that would also allow this business a chance? Why is that not the conversation? There has been no effort to support. And yes, that's part of our job. This business owner is one of our constituents. And we are not doing what we should be doing.
I just ask you again, though, the board went through for outdoor dining, and we used examples like this as the most extreme form, which is a residential.
Are we talking about dining out?
Right, but that's the outdoor dining, which we just brought that up. It's literally an arm's length from a residential apartment, and our board brought that up, so that's one.
I wouldn't know about that because we don't ever see the outdoor dining applications or decisions. They don't come to, they do not appear in our full board package, and we do not vote on them. So,
All those
that is
meetings
moot.
are recorded, but I'm just saying prior.
But
to-
those decisions do not come.
That
we are not, we are not discussing the outdoor.
Right, we
I'm
are
actually
not
talking about the.
privy.
Let's not
About-
everybody talk at
Decisions
one
and
time.
recommendations are
Let's not talk
going
at one time.
to DOT about those. So why are we, right,
So
Donna,
the
why are
point-
we talking about them?
No, no,
Because they
no,
are
no,
not the
no,
purview
No,
Can
no,
of this
because
committee.
Can I
the
say-
point that I'm just bringing up is that you're saying a lot of these issues are unique to this, but in fact, these are all the outlier issues that our board has had issues with in the past, right? It is not a regular thing, which is in our R zone only. It's a previously what was not a late night location. It is immediately abutting residential apartment on the ground floor. It's in an area that is densely saturated, all the surrounding areas. And the whole point is, why is there a continual expansion of those impactful uses? And in this particular case, it is not necessarily any one aspect of this application, but we have later hours. And it changed the class of liquor license to a bar. Or, you know,
And the
what is
addition of
the-
outside.
so- and the addition of outside. So these are all the sharp elbows that the board has talked about through
I mean,
time.
I've
So-
heard all of the arguments,
Okay.
Carter, every time, and frankly, they don't hold water at this point.
Okay, well, that's
This
your
is not a
opinion.
bad actor. There's no evidence of that. All of the accusations. Have you asked for the video, the cameras? Do you have dates? Because I believe that this
No,
applicant
what we're
actually
talking
has all
about
this
actually,
information.
what we we're talking about was the decision that was made at the liquor authority, when the argument was made.
The decision that
initially.
was made at the liquor authority as directed by this board.
This, you know, that's not true, Mars. We submitted things, we get turned down all the time with the liquor authority. I go up there all the time and I don't win, especially for a beer and wine license. It's very unusual. And I didn't, you know, this board did not, they didn't want a liquor license there in the first place because it wasn't a licensed place, because it's a residential area, because you have ground floor apartments right next door, because it's a bar, and because, to your point, there are so many other licenses there that it doesn't mean every single place gets a license. I mean, it's, you know, there's a balance of everything. So the compromise was made up there, and he has a liquor license, and he's open against our recommendation, and he's open until 12 o'clock at night, as what the authority thought. And they said no outside, out of respect for the residents that live right there with a window that is right there, that is 6 inches away. That is, it doesn't matter, if it was right under your apartment, you would not be sitting here saying, open it. So, you know, I mean,
I
they
would be trying to figure
were
out a way
very
to make
clear.
it work.
Well, the outside doesn't work. I mean, I'm sorry, but you have a residential apartment, this is not the only instance, we have fought that.
I mean, Donna,
So, I mean, I
know that the board did not want a license here, and so it is abundantly clear that this board wants to run this business.
No,
into
we're not
Oakland.
gonna run the business out, that's ridiculous.
that's
Well, if that's what you wanna think, that's what
This
that's
is very
David,
different.
Stop it,
Right.
we're done, you said your piece, said my piece, I think we're done here.
Thank you.
That's not what we're trying to do.
May I please have a minute to
Just one
respond?
second. Dr. Smith, did you have something you wanted to say?
I'll wait until we get to the business section.
Thank you,
So-
go ahead.
I would like to respond to some of the things that were said about how
Yep.
we're operating around the street. I was told that, you know what, you should never argue in community board meeting, but this is a matter of my honor. So I made a list of all the things that were said. Mind you, the only two opposition that comes to the two neighbors in the entire street, remember, 200 people signed in our favor. The two oppositions that comes from us are the ones that were there before we even opened up, from the day we signed the lease. So Mr. David Gruber, we'll talk about that for a second. He just said his first point was, in the very first meeting, 6 to 8 people showed up speaking against us. I'm pretty sure that these meetings are recorded and the minutes are taken. There were only 2 people. And there have always been those same 2 people. I want to go one by one as to everything Mr. Gruber said. Then he said that he does not know where I got the signatures from. In fact, in one of the previous community board meetings, Mr. Gruber stood up and actually said that some of these signatures were falsified. Every signature has a name and a building number. Verify it before you make that accusation. I stand in front of you and ask a question. If I accuse Mr. Gruber of a money launderer, would you believe it? without any evidence, anybody could say anything. And it's that kind of slander, there's that kind of slander that I believe has put our business in a position where we got a denial from CB2
So I-
because so much of the falsities were brought in. And by the way, I'm not done yet. In fact, in terms of late opening, on our website, 2 a.m. opening, I would challenge Mr. Gruber to pull out internet. You can trace back the record. That 2 a.m. opening was removed right away. We were never open. We have not served an ounce of alcohol after midnight ever since the ruling was done. Miss Rebecca here, who again has been opposed to this since before we were open. So, and is always talking to Mr. Gruber. I believe she is being coached by Mr. Gruber to always say certain things. And she just said that we opened repeatedly after like 2 a.m. or past 1 a.m. In fact, we got a letter of advice from SLA back in July last year, to which we responded to. And you can see the response to that letter on page 42. Photographic evidence is provided that our allegations were completely false. Bar was well closed, cleaned up, even a staff gone. Photographs of their time spent from Google camera. Yet they keep on making these false allegations, trying to make me look like, quote unquote, the bad player that Mr. Gruber thinks I am. I can also tell you one thing about him and I meeting for the very first time. I did not know him. I was advised by local people that you need to reach to community leaders. I was given 4 names. Mr. Gruber was one of them. We spent 2.5 hours together in a cafe. That was the first time we met him. And the whole purpose of meeting him was, David, please let me know how you want me to fill out my CB2 application. It's my first time doing it, never owned any kind of business. I come from corporate world, I'm retired, I'm 60 years old. I'm retired, so this was my thing after my corporate job. This was how I was going to make my living. So I went to him, we spent 2.5 hours together at a cafe that he picked. We had a couple of cups of coffee, and he was very nice to me. And I asked him, just tell me, what do you want me to include in the application and what would you like me to omit? He said, first, I don't want to hear it from an outdoor shed. Done. Outdoor seating, or you can have this many seats. Opening, closing hours, we went through everything. I filled out the application 100% to his specifications because it was my first time doing it. And I sent it to him 3 weeks prior to CB2 meeting. After that, if it ever comes down to collecting evidence, because I only believe in factual or fact-based allegations or, verifiable facts, I will supply phone records of how many times I called Mr. Gruber and texted him, left voicemails saying, David, I prepared my CB2 application. Please review it and let me know if I've missed anything, because I don't want to go there without your blessing. He never responded once. He waited 3 weeks. He let all the time burn out. He waited till the night before the CB2 meeting when it was too late for me to make any changes. And all I heard was he sent an email to all the community board members and local board presidents saying, I do not agree with anything Frank has in his application. None of this was discussed or I agreed to. And he did that the night before CB2 meeting, so I would have no way of correcting that. In fact, when I saw that.
Can we, can we just wrap this up? a little
Yes,
bit,
so
please?
there's a pattern here, so I just want the world to know this, because I've been quiet so long, but these false allegations keep coming without any evidence, and I provide all the evidence to the contrary, which never ever gets heard. I was just asking for a fair shake here.
Okay, so with the signatures that I see in here, in this packet, which I guess are the 200 that you're referring to.
Yeah, ma'am, so I
have, just let me just say my point and then you can come back at me. There are some that say that it's a wine bar and there's no outside space. There's other signatures that say that it's a bar and restaurant with a liquor license and that it will have outside space and the outside space will close at 10. So there's about 30 signatures, 60 signatures, 78 signatures there, or that, no, there's about 30 signatures there. There's about 48 signatures on another one that says something different that I can't read, so that's a different time. And then there's another 30 signatures, 32 signatures from the time it said it was a wine bar with no outdoor space, and some of these signatures between these are duplicates. That I saw earlier today, because probably the same people signed, because they were different times that they were done. So I don't see 200 and I don't see 200, so I just want to point that out, because that, you may have that, but that's not what's in this packet.
Yes, you're right about that. That's why the packet actually says 113 signatures. The reality has, we had, there are 113 signatures here. They might be.
But they're not from the same, some say that it's a wine bar with no outside.
Remember, we came to you guys several times, right?
Yes,
So the first time before we came to you, we collected a whole bunch of signatures. Then when we came to you, I was advised, no, you need to change the form and get it signed with liquor and your hours of operation. So we, therefore, you see a second form. We went back to community. We did that process 3 times. So hence the forms are there.
okay. All right, does anybody have anything else?
I'd like to say.
Yeah, Dr. Smith, go ahead.
I'd like to say something. I'm very, very concerned and disturbed about what I hear. And it's, first of all, in the business session, I will address my concern with.
You please use the microphone.
I will address my concern part in the business session. However, Mr. Gruber, there were allegations just made against you. Are those allegations correct?
I'll answer you if you want me to.
Well, I asked you a question. And you shook your head. Is that?
No, we did spend hours with him.
David, you have to use a microphone. Then it was ridiculous.
We had 4 block associations meet with him, and we did spend, I'm sorry, I'm answering your question, Shirley.
No, I asked a direct question.
I said no.
It had nothing about you shook your head. I don't know whether that's a yes or no.
David, just answer her question.
No.
But no, you don't have to speak about block associations. And secondly, I've been on this board.
Could you please use that?
I've been on this board, well, I'm very upset. I've been on this board for a very long time, and I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's why I asked this question, of were those allegations true? So you're saying no.
No, I'm saying they were not true, the allegations.
Okay, all right.
And Miss, what is your name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, are the allegations against you?
Rebecca, you have to come up and use the microphone to answer her.
Are those allegations
What
against you?
allegations?
What are the allegations against me?
The allegations are that Mr. Gruber, maybe you didn't hear it, but I heard it unless I misheard it. The allegations is that Mr. Gruber has mentored you and changed your mind about this young man.
No, I have a living experience that is hell, so that's.
You made that very
He's a
clear.
nice man, but, no.
No, thank, that was my question.
Katie?
I just want to go back to the signatures because pages 28 to 31, we've taken out the last names and the addresses and the email, so those are problematic.
Those are from SLA redacted, those are really.
And page 32, SLA also redacted.
All the redactions, it even says there on page 1, based part of the redactions, they're not done by us, they're all done by SLA.
Okay, well, I don't know if they help you.
Oh, so I can,
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I can provide original letters, I just, or,
And then we have heard that, I know there are these 2 stamped pictures, but we've heard of other instances of both private parties and, patrons in the space after your hard closed time. So other than those 2 pictures, do you have any other evidence?
yes, ma'am, the only reason why those pictures are there, because that was this date specified, by Miss Rebecca as when she heard loud paper noises after 1 a.m. And as you can see, the place was completely empty well before 1 a.m. The reason why those pictures are there, like I said, because that was the date identified. I stand here so confident that I asked this board and Miss Rebecca to name any date and I will bring you my POS system receipts, so you can see if we ever sold a drop after midnight. Have there been times where somebody might have used the bathroom and walked out at 12:15? Probably yes. But show me a single restaurant where that has never happened. But for me to actually have hours of operation after midnight, I challenge any allegation with a shred of proof.
I think, are we done? Anybody else have anything?
Just said one thing. Is it possible that there's some confusion over your staff playing music after you close, or, you know, being there afterwards? Cause that's not
It's a good question,
uncommon that comes up, right?
That's a very good question, sir.
Where there can be some discrepancy.
Yeah, that's excellent. So they used to, I must admit, before the SLA ruling got held down. I was so afraid because, like I said, my life savings is invested in this. This was supposed to be my retirement plan. So when we got handed that stipulation from SLA, I literally went to my bar manager, every single person saying, midnight, you know, music only plays through the laptop. Your laptop screen needs to be closed down. So music cannot play. So even if I'm not there in the establishment, I can see from my camera the laptop screen is shut down. We're that specific about it. Even if you guys are cleaning afterwards, which they do, is they're giving you clean, so they're ready for the next shift. Laptop has to be closed, music has to be off.
And could that have generated some of the confusion, I guess is what I'm asking? Because that is a difference with the same.
Could have been, so could have been,
So I just asked that because it's hard when you're here because you both have experiences, right? So, and it's difficult to deny any experience if it happened, but it may not have been what either of you may have thought is the point that I'm bringing up.
But it happened. I mean, I can't say with 100% surety that it could never have happened. It possibly could have happened. I'm here only to tell you that the one or two allegations where the dates were mentioned, we were very quick to respond with photographic evidence as it's in front of you. We're still to this day, name any date and we'll provide footage to show you that we're not serving after midnight. Are there a couple of people there cleaning, or if a patron comes to me at midnight when they're walking out saying I have to use the bathroom?
No,
I cannot.
I'm not saying it's happening now. I'm just saying, is there something else that could have generated the, because that's not uncommon that we hear complaints from residents that say something's happening later, but it's actually the staff just someplace playing music, and that has created a lot of confusion through time. So I just bring that up because that's a easily, you know, we're not saying that you're necessarily operating later. I'm just saying what would cause any confusion and just so that's out there. But it sounds like you addressed that.
It could have been, sir. I can assure you that as soon as I finish this meeting, I go back and I'll have a conversation with my staff and just triple check and make sure I tell them that even if you're here cleaning, make sure the music is off. All I can do is reiterate that. I don't know if it happened once or twice. It might have. I do not know that. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you keep saying, to the questions, I'm not serving alcohol after midnight. Because the question is a little different. Question is, are you operating in any way? In other words, do you still have patrons in there? And it doesn't have to be every night. It could be every once in a while. I think that's the question.
Yeah, so our closing hours are midnight. That's when we shut down music, stop serving and stuff like that. Have there been instances where some people putting on their coat and left 10, 12, 15? Quite possibly. Show me any venue where that's not possible. I can't literally physically push them out the door at midnight. The thing is, we tell in fact, 1:45 we turn on all the lights because a dim light, it's an intimate romantic place. We turn on all the lights, we shut down the music. And our waitress goes table to table telling people, guys, you have to wrap up because we have to close by midnight. Are they always out by 12:00 a.m.? Probably not. But you cannot stand here, or nobody can stand here and tell me that we're open past midnight. That's just impossible.
I'm not sure any of us are arguing about.
Oh, no, sir, I'm not saying you are, I'm saying.
I'm just bringing that up
Can we just-
because that's not what
Yeah,
I
let's
think most people's
not see them now. Let's be done.
decisions.
Understood.
Right, does anybody have anything else that's different? No,
Let's
okay,
move on.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so then that's it for the applications. We have, The 14 Group LLC and SB Hospitality as manager at 244 West 14th Street. That was a re-notification of an on-premise restaurant. That was a re-notification to disclose that SB Hospitality LLC is as management company, but not on the original license. It's the same principles. They confirmed that. We originally heard it in March 2026. We have STIP, we waived the appearance. Slice West Village, doing business as Slice of Perfect Food at 535 Hudson Street. Said alteration to add the sidewalk. That was another re-notification. Appearance was waived. We have STIPs, J.M. Williams. Doing business as Bouvet, 4244 Grove Street, on-premise restaurant, alteration to add the roadway. We have STIPs. That was a re-notification. The appearance was waived. That's it. For that. So should we take a break? Is that what we're doing, is taking a break? Before. Okay.
So I'll just pause this or
Just mute it.
mute it.
Okay, so we'll start with, we'll start with the Avion,
Why don't we just go through them?
because they're sitting here and I'd like to let them go, if that's all right. So. Anybody want to lead off on that? I mean, we denied the application before. And there is nothing any different about it. We still have a residential window right next door. The church will see if somebody wants to, but irregardless of the church, is it in the public interest to have a bar on this saturated area? As previously.
But I think we need to back up for a second.
All right, go ahead. Why don't you just do it? Because I'm,
Just to back up for a second, because I think that the issue was, and that we had in the beginning, is that this area traditionally, not that long ago, had a lot of mixed uses.
Right.
This store was a frame shop, this is the, what.
this was a
these are
video
what,
place or something.
Non-conforming commercial
Architect
uses.
frame shop.
These are what non-conforming commercial uses were filled in with, which was predominantly daytime activities, stuff, that's not impactful. And what Carmine Street has become, and particularly since COVID, which pushed out a lot of those smaller stores, is all, drinking, has taken away any of the mixed use aspect that complemented residential use. You have a residential apartment immediately next door, and this was the concern from the very beginning, sure. Is that, if it's a dining related thing where people are coming and finishing meals and leaving, very different, but here we have a bar. These are the same issues, and whether it is there at 12:15 or whatever it is, are not really what's the issue here. It's just that this is a residential neighborhood and it's sort of a race to the top of all these expanded hours. We have two applications tonight that are on opposite ends of the spectrum. And it's actually a very interesting balance. We have one that's on a corner of a major avenue and thoroughfare that's seeking later hours, right? That's where these businesses generally belong, as opposed to on the interior of residential streets. And I think that that's the issue here. And it's very compelling to say, hey, my business is struggling. I need to compete, but the whole point is that you can't come up with all the sharp elbows and all the impacts of what a bar brings in these areas. And I think that that's the same discussion that we had the last. And it's exactly the same. And I understand the concern, but it's generally the earlier parts of the day, or expanding your food menu, or bringing in other things, which is where the business expands.
Or insulating the wall that causes the most harm.
Or that's right too, and that was the other, that great point, right, which is, and Donnie, you brought this up, and the understanding is that there's a solid, very thick party wall in the apartments, but it's a brick wall. And the applicant chose not to cover the brick wall, presumably for aesthetic reasons.
He's the back bar built on that now, that's.
Right.
Right,
and-
but he should
And
have,
it was an issue from the very beginning.
right,
But that's where, and look.
Which is why we
we've
always
heard from
ask
millions
people to
of all these different
insulate
sound
first.
levels go up and down, and different things transfer through the walls. And, but it's a residential, unit next door, which is very infrequent that we hear applications where that's the case. It's so infrequent. That, it's
Remember Carter,
incredibly rare.
the place on 10th Street,
Yes.
10th and Bleecker, and we pointed out to, with the sushi,
Yeah.
Westville and sushi, we pointed out to him that there were all of these ground floor apartments surrounding him, and he said, I'm not gonna go there
Yeah.
because it's not gonna be more of a headache than it's worse.
It came back last night,
And where did he go?
different location.
Didn't we give it to them? Yeah, first we brought it to them.
no, he's on,
But that's the challenge, and I think that, if we had heard any one element of this application, there'd be a more thorough discussion, but it's really hard when we're hearing all three components of it,
Right.
which create the issues, and it's difficult to separate them because they're all being presented together. And I think that that's what makes this very difficult, because it wasn't, hey, you know what, I need an extra hour. That wasn't
Right.
what was presented to us. It wasn't, hey, you know what? I need
need
it
seats
outside,
outside.
you know what, I'll close a little earlier, we'll figure it out. It wasn't, oh, you know, I'm gonna keep it the same, I'm gonna upgrade to full liquor, because maybe my margins will increase. But what we heard was all three elements at once, and I think that that is the hard part.
Well, it
Because all
doesn't give
three
you
of those
anything
issues
to-
were the issues in the beginning of why we had problems with this application in the first part. And I take very much to heart the challenge, we're trying to harm a business, but in this particular case, I think we're being put in a very hard spot by all of these issues being presented to us. And it may seem that there's something not fair happening, but these are all open issues, and I don't, you know, we regularly, after a person is open and running, reconsider things. And that happens regularly. This is a very big outlier. And that's what I was trying to point out to Mara, because it has so many of the issues that we as a board have talked about that create problems in our community when people are living right up next to each other, and the changing nature of business that's happening in our community. And I think it's hard or it's easy to say when something is not right next to you, hey, that works. But when you have the people who say, hey, I moved into an apartment building and I expected this to be my apartment and have a little bit of peace around it, and suddenly something's thrown out, that suddenly now you have a business open until midnight, 2 a.m. That's a lot. And so that's a balance that's very hard, and that's why the 500-foot rule is there. And before, this wasn't a 500-foot rule case when it went to the liquor authority, and yet they made these comments.
Right.
And it's fair what Mara said, that they're only listening to the community board and not other people, but you know what, statutorily, they're only required to listen to the community board, because that's actually written into the statute, that they have to take into consideration the position of the community board.
Right.
And it's a fair point to say, you know, the community, but I think that we, but I also think that we did weigh some of these issues, and these submissions were also submitted to the liquor authority, so it wasn't made in a vacuum.
It wasn't made in a vacuum, and also, just to say that the applicant made a submission, and letters from the applicant were also submitted to the liquor authority. They had the letters in favor of this application up there from a number of the people. They considered that when they made this consideration, specifically said, we have to do a compromise, because that's why he has the liquor license, was because there were so many people who wrote letters in support of it. And the compromise was to also acknowledge that there is a resident that lives right immediately there on the ground floor, and it's a residential area, and it already has a lot, and that this is also, to the point that you just made, a bar and not also a restaurant.
Have there been other complaints outside of, like, just over the 22 months that he's been operating? Like, has he got any other?
I mean, no, we haven't received them. I don't know who's complained and who hasn't
But
complained.
obviously there were complaints, because he's got photographs, so there's definitely
Well,
some back and forth.
Rebecca made a complaint, so, you know,
Like, how strong are we supposed to take into account that there's like 100, let's call it 100 signatures or less, 80 signatures?
well, they're all different. I mean, the signatures, there are duplicate signatures, all done at different times and everything else. So somebody
Yes.
would really have to sit down and look at that. I mean, some people sign something for a wine and beer license with no outside. Other people sign something for a full liquor license. So I mean, this is not, I have to spend another 2 hours going down and looking at all these signatures.
I don't think that anybody was talking about the character of the applicant, you know,
No.
at any level that we're
there was
discussing that.
No
And that's
discussion of the
point
character
that
of
I
the
just
applicant, the
feel like
discussion
just
was.
took a track, incorrectly took a track on that. Because there's statutorily, can you apply for a liquor license? That's what I was addressing, and I'm sorry, Dr. Smith. I had heard you saying stuff under your breath, that was my experience of what I heard, and that's what I reacted to. And I've done that before with other people when they've been
I'm
speaking,
happy
so.
that you just said that,
So.
because I want to ask you, what did you hear?
I heard you say Jesus under your breath.
I'm
to what I was
Christian.
saying.
It was,
You don't know me, I say Jesus all the time.
No, but it wasn't, my point was is that you were like, enough.
You interpreted it.
And what I was,
Harder.
but I wanted.
Use harder, may I say?
Sure.
You go at nauseam at times.
That's right.
Okay, and everybody knows, it, okay? So you're saying, but you remember, although we have a constitution that a whole lot of folk now obviously don't believe in it, but thank God we still have it. So there is such a thing, I'm not a lawyer, my son's a lawyer, and we have a lawyer here. There's such a thing as I have relatives who one's a judge. Well, all I'm saying is that there's a First Amendment that says free speech.
I never said anything about that. I was just speaking.
No,
There's a reason. that I-
No, but
And I'll
what,
explain that to you if you're interested.
what made you though, if I said Jesus, why was this visceral kind of attack? 'Cause
Right.
that's how.
No,
I-
that's a
let me-
good, that's a
let me
very good
get my
question. Yeah, and
out
I'll
before
explain it.
Before you, that's
Yeah.
another thing, you don't let people finish talking. Let me get it out. I just wanna know, cause normally I got upset and I don't normally get upset either. But I said, first of all, what did you hear? And if you said it was Jesus, what was it that
The
that made
reason.
you feel like attacking me? Cause it was, I
No,
thought
the-
it was disrespectful.
Oh, no, I understand. The reason is because it's actually by the applicant not having a full grasp of this issue is an inordinate waste of our time.
Carter, I've been on the committee, when we gave the
No. The application of that rule actually means that the license just can't be issued. And if he has a credible argument, which is what I was pointing out, is that I don't think it is, because it doesn't discuss the use of the doors. It actually wastes the time of Donna, of a full day of her time of going to the liquor authority. It wastes the resources of the liquor authority by having people go and reviewing this and spending a whole time of an investigator at the liquor authority who could be doing something else, all to review something that is predicated on some very basic
I
things.
get it, but
And
I was gonna ask a question, but on the next page. And then
No, and the next page is actually where what I actually asked about him. And it's actually, there's plenty of outlines, and this is discussed all the time, what's a door used at? If he actually had somebody who regularly practiced within the liquor authority's law that was advising him, he would have actually come up with each of the uses, and it's not just the measurement. But the leading into that, and because I also, work with Donna on things, she works on this, it's not just this meeting, this is the beginning. of the
Donna does,
process.
I know exactly what she does, she does an ordinance, but let's not talk about Donna a minute here. Let's get back to the point. Since you said you heard Jesus, and I'm Christian, so that means, and you've offered me an apology, so I am going to accept it.
There we go.
He's on the committee, yes. Jesus forgives us for our sins, and we have to forgive others, so let's move on.
Okay, so
yes,
Katie,
I just wanna go back to the letters. There are
Oh,
three
really?
sheets of letters with no dates on the signature, so you have to figure that.
What page
Yeah,
is
no,
it,
it's the
Katie?
top here. Yeah, there's no dates. but
What
it-
No
page?
date.
Can somebody just tell me which page you're on?
36.
Okay, thanks.
So there are three sheets that's for the wine bar restaurant.
No, they're not even, this doesn't even tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah,
The next page
36.
behind tells you time, sidewalk, bar, full liquor license, so that's 2 full pages.
But look at the dates. Those signatures are from December
24.
2024.
This is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
some of
He
the.
kind of acknowledged that,
Yeah.
not really saying.
22, some of them
Yeah.
are for 23, these are
He
not
couldn't
new,
really say they're new.
none of
He never
this.
said they're new.
No.
So none of this that's in here, just so everybody understands what 3/4 of what's in here is things like the stuff that's redacted, Katie, that's on page 29, page 30. That came from the liquor authority,
Yeah.
okay, and I will say, to your point, it's really interesting getting things from the liquor authority, because they do redact out like if you get the application somebody submitted to the liquor authority, they redact the applicant's employment history, which is one of the things, in a way, you kind of
Yeah.
I mean, so anyway, so a lot of this goes back to when he initially made the application to us. It's not new to this application.
Yeah, so need to go.
Irrespective of that, but let's just talk about that, because it's an important point, and it's something that was brought up. I think that we have taken into account some of the testimony. I don't think that it's untrue that he fulfills a need for some people.
I'm
I
sure
don't
he
think that
does.
it's untrue that some people like to go there. I don't think it's untrue that people on the block don't have an issue with him, but that's not what the issue has been from, because that's always the case with a business that has people that go there and you get to know your neighbors. The issue is what we're always struggling with, which is this constant
And there's
expansion.
the brick wall.
And this is not a mystery here, and there are ways that we could have had a discussion about ways that he might have been able to expand parts of his business, but that is not what we were presented with. We're presented with everything at once, and that's what makes it difficult, and that's why I, was asking Mara, it's like, this board has had issues with where does things belong or where do they don't? Just because you have businesses everywhere, that's because there was a business there before 1930. It doesn't mean that you can have a late night business, and that's the same thing that, we've talked about. And somebody's apartment right there, I mean, that was never, I think, the intent of the outdoor dining, to change stuff,
But it's-
So, but we could have talked about those things, but all at once.
I thought he was asking for it all at
So
once so he can
So
negotiate.
what do we do next, since we really didn't do that?
Well, no, but this is the
It wasn't
application
presented
before us.
that
and
way.
it
I
wasn't
mean,
presented,
we have to
so
We have to
On every
vote,
issue.
What?
we have to vote on the application
On-premise.
As is presented.
that
Yeah.
was presented, and that was
Playground.
a change in class or a change in closing on Friday and Saturday, 2 AM.
So
And to adding however many seats it was outside.
And that they were all
Right.
presented together, I mean, which is,
None of them are decoupled.
yeah.
Right,
How do we pick them apart and say,
No.
no to this, yes to this?
We could, but I think that that's not really fair for us to do, because if he reviews what we're talking about, right, the applicant, he can see that there might be some openness, and he should decide what it is that he wants to do and what's important
most
to him.
important.
I don't want to sit here and he needed them all together is what I heard. And he needs them all to survive, and that's.
Authority already denied the application.
no. The liquor authority did not deny the application. The liquor authority granted his tavern wine application with
After we did.
conditions on it of closing at midnight
the no outside.
and no outside
Outside.
and no private parties. And that's what the
Got
liquor
it.
authority
Okay,
did.
got
12 o'clock closing, no
But they were very
outside.
specific about,
It's in the drive. Their minutes are in the drive and the transcript of the meeting is in the drive. So they can read it.
so they've already made.
They weighed in on that.
This is the new application.
This is a new application,
Yes.
or it's a change to the
And
applicant class. Yeah.
before we go, and there were some issues at that time, because there were some misunderstandings. So, but since then, he has stopped that other behaviors where there were some misunderstandings, so I didn't go into that. So he's, he's operating on a regular basis, maybe he closes a few minutes late, whatever, but he's generally.
Has some private parties. that might run
Yeah,
later.
he's conforming. The only thing that we didn't bring up, which had been noted, is he does have a cocktail program, but he's using soju-based
But
spirits.
Sir, I have a
So
question on that, though. I mean, the menu says 48 proof tequila. I mean,
that's that's some brand name that I looked it up. That's some brand. So it's a soju brand.
oh, it is?
Yeah,
That's called 48 proof
something,
tequila?
yeah, it's something like, yeah. I mean, but it's.
Okay.
So he's already serving spirit?
No,
No.
the soju is allowed because it's a
Right.
wine
But he's already
But he's-
moved himself from a wine bar
to a cocktail.
into the perception, the forward-facing perception for people outside that he has cocktails.
I see.
Right.
So he, but he is,
So we know that.
but he makes them, but he doesn't have the normal alcohol spirits that people would make.
He said that there were going to be no private parties.
He's not allowed to, he's not supposed to be
But
having
that's-
private parties. The liquor authority told
But
him. no
private parties, This is like not.
I'm just
an
saying,
issue,
Carter,
you know?
so it may not be, well, it may or may not be an issue. It can fill up the whole bar and everybody leaves at the same time, but that's not even the discussion.
But that's not
the
a balance
point-
point on the decision-making one.
No, but the point is
So-
that the SLA did actually,
Okay,
for whatever
that's
reason,
fine.
specifically tell them no private parties, and that wasn't something we asked for. They specifically said that.
But we heard that he has been having.
He may have had some groups in there that's different than when they say private.
Yeah,
party,
I
they
don't
list
buy out.
all
I see, yeah, yeah.
established.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fair.
A party of 20 people. is not-
So we're voting on the whole package. And as a whole package, since there's nothing really to work with, I don't know how we don't deny the whole package.
I'm denied.
I would recommend him to come back and pick what he's.
I can't hear you, sorry.
I would recommend him to come back and say, hey, give me a liquor license until midnight, I'll stay with my same hours. The outside is obviously a no-go because there are ladies' windows next door to it, like that's, you know.
Right,
it
but
is what
until
it
he
is.
comes back, we have to vote on what's in
Yeah.
front of
You
us.
have to vote on it.
It sounds like he made a poor business deal, yeah, but, you know, I don't know how much of that we're supposed to like carry on our shoulders. Or he's probably,
I know, but the board business decision is what is left with the community.
right, that's what I'm saying,
That was his board decision, not.
and it gives, like then,
Again,
so we.
it's fair fan
I
said.
know, but we told them, the community, told them, bad idea, bad location. And you're operating, you wanna operate as a bar, okay, now it's midnight, okay, very hard to operate to midnight, that's why everyone might be staying later, okay, I'm just saying, it's like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Next door to with sharing a party wall with another, with the neighbor, and just the whole thing is not good.
Yeah.
And so it's not gonna get better, and then the accusations are just ridiculous, because it's not about accusations, as Carter says, it's really about the location, to me, like, why are we doing this? That's a bad business decision,
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't
Like,
think
he
we should be
admitted that.
supporting bad decisions. That's all,
So are we all in denial?
yes.
Dr. Smith, what are you?
I am going to, yeah, I'm conflicted. I'm definitely going to abstain.
You're abstaining, okay. All right. So we have 7 deny and 1 abstain. Okay. Now we'll go in order.
Yes.
We don't give him a response, do we? We don't
No.
just deny outright.
Then
You can abstain, me, so.
you're gonna abstain too?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're at, the strangers.
Oh, how did that?
Fine.
Rest. the rest.
So with that one, what we were told, the rear yard. You know, we have a letter of no objection. For eating and drinking use group 6 and 4 dwelling units use group 2. On the first floor. To the eating and drinking. He says that as long as they keep the occupancy below 74, they've been advised that the use of the rear yard is okay. They brought the seating down on the interior to add the 8 seats on the exterior. So we always say that unless we have a letter of no objection that says that specifically that you can use the rear yard, that they need to have that.
And I saw that there were people who objected, the neighbors objected when they used the rear yard in the past.
So we have a bunch of letters of support in the drive. I didn't read
But
any.
not the building behind. What he couldn't do was the building behind.
But I mean, I looked back to see who wrote last time, people that wrote last time wrote this time. Saying that they've been great, they've been really good operators, they're in support of it, they're in support of the rear yard, they're in support of the roadway. I didn't see any, to my recollection, in here that were in opposition for this application.
I thought
But if somebody else wants to do this work and go tell me which ones they are, I'm more than happy to have anybody do it.
No, I just think that the rear yard, again, it doesn't say they can use the rear yard, this is
Right.
an R7 zone. This is the same, this is the same
Same
thing,
as
the
last week.
38 Carmine,
Yeah.
that we're also hearing tonight, that the DOB came back and told them they could not use it.
Right,
And if you go back and look at the improvement card for this location,
Yeah,
which
did you
is
do
what
that?
predate, yeah, it
okay,
just says yard, you know, there's a business
Okay.
and people didn't use the rear yards. And the whole part of the any of the residential zones is you can't expand a non-conforming use. And this is an expansion,
Okay.
there wasn't rear yard dining in the past, and so I think that
Mhm.
we just deny it and then we're fine with it if they have something from the Department of Buildings. You can go and get another letter of no
Right,
objection that
that's- I
says,
did tell
yes, you
them
can
that.
use the rear yard, and we've seen those before.
Yes, I
It gotta
told
be
you.
two means of
That's what we-
egress.
Well, we-
That's
that's
what-
what
No,
we've
it just
gone
needs-
asked for in the
It
past.
just needs to say it can use the rear
Yeah,
yard.
because that's what they got on
Yeah,
Hudson
and-
Street.
and
Hudson
to
Street, they
Bob's
got
point,
that
They have
air
two means
ramp.
of egress.
Yeah,
Huh?
Bob's
Two means
point,
of egress.
But
They
I
two,
think
we're, the only places they've ever granted is two means of egress. Out the backyard.
Well, okay,
but
I just say we think we just need to stay
Right,
consistent
I'd
on
like to
that,
say, I
and,
think we should too. but
and-
then they show-
Wait.
you know, and that just goes to, in residential zones, you know, suddenly
well,
we
I have
have
three letters of support in the
an
draft. I
outdoor
don't think
restaurant
it's
behind the
right,
place,
So
it's not.
I don't know where you're reading it from. So,
When you find them.
so
And-
Carter, I'm sorry, what, you can't expand and we don't have a letter of no objection for the
Right,
rear yard.
and the application for a letter of no objection is simply writing a letter to them with the materials to support your request.
The application.
And pay a fee for
Yeah, I
it.
basically told
And
them
so
we had
it's
somebody
not
else who had done it.
something
No, it's not.
bigger and they can,
Someone was
Carter,
given
do you
one.
need a second?
Oh.
I don't,
Someone get.
look, there's,
38,
the idea
38.
is that if there's, it's the
No, this
patron
is
load
what
going
we
through the
said.
place, I mean, if it's, that's why they reduced the number inside to be less than
Right.
74. But they're supposed to go through the restaurant if there's a problem. I don't know what's there, I mean, I don't know if there's fire escapes in the, who knows?
Right.
But it's not up to us, it's just, it's a
Okay.
residential area, I think that. If you talk to anybody and suddenly, oh, there's a restaurant in the backyard next door. Yeah.
So I'm going to,
It's,
so for the rear yard, we're denying it.
Yes.
Um,
denial,
denial,
be it therefore further resolved.
right,
If the applicant provides documentation from the Department of Buildings that explicitly says that the rear yard use is allowed for
Eating.
eating and drinking purposes, that we would be fine, subject to the,
They,
what's in the resolution, the whereas clause.
But
Okay.
there's something about egress.
I would be careful with that kind of therefore clause.
why?
No, just the Department
I
of
mean,
Buildings
well,
has to
this is
say
it.
it's.
So if somebody will review that, and, oh, they said it's okay,
No,
I would be careful.
no, that the Department of Buildings has to say that the rear yard.
But
is-
then someone will argue that's what the Department of Building said. I'm just saying.
We have some
Really
other examples of letters
Yeah,
of no objection from the Department of Buildings. For that.
What
It's
you're
up to
saying is,
them.
but if you show someone else something that says that, it's okay. What I would say is, you can come back and with to us. And we will reconsider it. That's what it should say. It shouldn't say,
I'll read the rest of it.
someone else
I did
sees something
say
that's
it.
okay.
That's actually
Yeah.
good, that's a good, I
Yeah.
like that.
Because
Right.
people play games with that.
That's a, I'm
So
fine with
return,
that.
okay, so they return to us once they have that,
For
the
reconsideration.
reconsideration.
Yeah.
Okay, for the road bed. Which,
No objection.
No,
okay, so that's till 11 PM, road bed, okay,
Can you write those as two separate
I will,
resolutions
yeah, I'll just use my
and
stamp.
refer to the other,
I have to,
each other?
yeah, I'll have to give them steps for the road bed. Cause the steps right now say no outside, so I'll have to change the steps, the overall steps. Oh, no, I guess I can just do the roadbed steps, which then change the other steps automatically. Right, okay, separate, all right. We all okay with that?
yes.
Okay, so that's 7 of us. Okay, Miznon,
Yeah.
So Miznon is the 38 Carmine Street. They agreed that they would agree to stipulation of no use of the rear yard now or in the future. Um,
And they kept their hours? Did they?
Yes.
yeah. Hours are till 12.
Yeah.
The hours are till 12.
The Block Association.
The block association is fine with it. And it's less hours, I believe, than what was there previously. It's certainly not much. So we're okay with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. The next one is, I think RDM 14. RDM.
Yeah.
What was there before?
Valbella. I mean, it's so long ago, I don't even have anything in my personal files from meat packing.
Barbella?
VALBE, and I put what little background I could find
Or was it
in the drive, but basically it says that, I think we did, it's a long time ago.
It struck me just from what they were saying that these hours were a little early.
They are early, that's why I, so.
I don't know if he understood what you said.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, I was very clear, number.
You were
two,
pretty clear.
His attorney
Yes.
is not inexperienced. Number three. Other people in the neighborhood have spoken to him and are fully aware that those are the hour. I said, if there's a change on this application, it should be made because our hours
Come
are
back.
closing. So I did everything I could, so that's what it's gonna say, and I'm gonna be, I'll say on the record, I will be very annoyed if I get some pushback about that, because I specifically asked, and I
Yeah, yeah.
specifically
Yeah,
said that
you did.
means closing.
That his boss did always like in kind, which.
No,
is
I know.
weird. Like, I don't know, it seemed to.
I mean, it
must have
doesn't,
loads of money.
it doesn't seem, I mean, they can't,
You can always come
I
back.
mean, look, it makes sense, cause if you don't have a late night business and you just close your kitchen, you're done,
Well,
that's it.
yeah.
That's
no,
it.
I know,
Yeah.
but in
But
meat
for that,
packing and stuff,
No,
I
I-
would think he
yeah.
would want something, I mean, I honestly would think he'd want something till 1 or 2
disagree,
o'clock,
just-
and I don't think it'll be a problem. So, you know, I mean, that's the one place, this is what I've kind of said, over there on 13th Street, if you wanna put a DJ inside, or you want it to be till 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to hear it, it's not a roof.
I'm not sure how experienced New York City is, like he's.
So it can always come back.
They can come back at
Always
this
come
point,
back,
he can
yeah.
come back, but so we're denying less on that?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it will be nice to have something in that place, it's been empty for years.
I know you would look through these, why are there 4 amended questionnaires?
No,
I didn't go
The
back to check each time, I mean, the one thing they finally did, the last amended
it's not
one,
organization.
well, the last amended one, they added the AKA 421 West 13th
That's
Street.
called
and
organization.
I had told them that 3 times earlier, so I don't know why it.
We just, we never could, I mean, weren't that organized. This lady.
No, I didn't
This
do
lady
it,
is
I didn't
organized.
do it, they
Oh,
sent
they
it
did
in
it?
and the office
Oh, and you
renamed
just-
them all,
yeah,
so they
okay.
just,
PDF
but I
came
don't
in
know
that way.
why.
You didn't change it, all
I-
right.
not me. D6 Hospitality Grove next door.
Did you find out why they have so many TVs?
They wanna be able to turn them on if there's some sports thing.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting that the neighbors wanted a late night there because it's sort of a,
It's very
Druggy.
neighborhood.
yeah, but it's sort of a druggy corner. They want
If
someone
you're gonna,
there.
if you're gonna put in a place, that's the place
Yeah.
to put it.
Yeah.
So,
The ice cream place was there used to be.
Yeah.
That was a.
It used to be a pharmacy. It used
so,
to be a pharmacy, grocery.
is there anything, they said they closed the sidewalk at 10 PM.
Well, how are they gonna deal with the clash with the Via Carota line?
But they're,
Lots of-
they have Marie's Crisis and everything,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
something
that's-
in between, they've got other lines between Via Carota and
Yeah.
where they hit their corner.
You might have
So-
somebody else to make some money. right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're okay with the hours, 12 and then 2 Thursday to Saturday?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Smith?
I am not.
I agree with you, but I'm not
And
voting.
what are you saying about it? You know, I used to live on Seventh Avenue and it's very quiet and if you have windows.
Seventh Avenue. Seventh Avenue.
I live on 7,000,
Well,
I wanna see this place ever.
Well, actually, it might be quieter these days because everybody's coming into all the little streets to be.
It lives on very quiet.
All the bikes from Town Square.
You will, okay.
All right, good.
Thank you, Dr. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will say that Thursdays, especially, I mean, that location, it's not mid-block on a quiet residential street, but Thursdays really are the Fridays.
Yeah.
So, okay, and then the last thing we just have to say, is everybody, we have the 14 group that we waived, that was that was just adding on the management company, denying less.
Yes.
Okay, Slice West Village, sidewalk re-notification, denying less.
Yeah.
Okay, J.M. Williams doing businesses to vet, denying less.
Yes.
Okay, so
Governor Dining wasn't open.
Right.
which one wasn't open? I don't know. They weren't open?
They had to.
Bye, sorry.
Bye.
Birthday dinner.
Oh,
Okay.
goodbye,
Bye.
sorry, Erica.
Okay.
And so we had one abstention and I forgot to ask about recusals, Carter.
Sorry. Yeah.
Slipped up on your job. Okay, any new business, anybody?
No,
Okay, though September, oh, it doesn't pertain, we're gonna move it to the 8th.
Wait a minute, what are we gonna do? But that,
You're not gonna let you know. As tentatively, yes.
Okay,
So what is this?
doesn't pertain to you.
Thanks.
are you talking about August or September?
I'm talking about SLA 1
Oh.
SLA one.
Sorry.
in September, for Dunmore.
SLA 2 is going to meet on the 6th of August.